Hey there, Silver-Tongued Devil here, and in this live stream we're going to be looking at the end of the season on In Death Unchained. Because it's coming. For those of you who don't know, because there's been at least one, I'm not saying any names, Koska, and the end of the season is on, well, now this depends on your interpretation. The end of the season for In Death Unchained, they've said the 25th, is the changeover day, is what I've just read. So I think you have until the 24th. So I would say get everything that you want to get done finished before the 24th to avoid disappointment or thinking you have one less day. So what does a season end mean for us? A season end will basically take all of your rankings across all of the boards and the disciplines in both the main game, the Sigils, and Siege of Heaven, and assign you an amount of legend points. Now, it doesn't matter, it does matter how far you get up in the rankings, but the top first, between first and the top 10, there's not a massive amount of difference. Top 11 to about the top 50, there's not a lot of difference. 50 to 100, not a lot of difference. And then 100 down to like 500, not a lot of difference, and so on and so forth. My point being, even if you can't the crossbow, or you suck at Siege of Heaven, or, you know, can't do insert X on In Death Unchained, if you do not register a score on the board... Why is my hand doing that? That's very provocative, isn't it? Ha he ha he ha he. Right, so if you do not register a score on the board, you will definitely not get any legend points. Even if it's just a pathetic little 100 for, you know, spending 5 minutes dying with the crossbow. If you do not complete a run, you will not get a score on the board, and then you'll just miss out. So my first piece of advice to anybody who doesn't know what an end of the season means, if you have the sigils open, go on each sigil, spend 5 minutes on the bow and the crossbow, so that is 6 runs in total. Go out there, kill a couple of enemies, die, done. You don't even have to actually die. Just make sure that the leaderboard has registered a score by either saving and quitting. But even then, if you know, just abandon the run, it'll still register your score. But the best thing to do, go out there, get some kills, die, then you know it's all done, dusted, sorted. And then also the important reason why you end runs at this stage is because any runs that you have ongoing whilst you are in the transfer from one season to another will be saved but won't count to next season. So, I don't know, if there's anybody sitting on a 48 million point crossbow mortal run, and they're thinking, ha 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 ha, maybe I could just keep that score on file, and then I'll go back to it next season, and then I'll be first again. Doesn't work like that. So I've seen it a couple of times now. I've tested it for the intensive purposes of, if I had a run going and it changes season, you will keep that run. But it will warn you when you go into that run that this run is from a previous season and will not count towards the leaderboard. If you miss that message and start an existing run that has just started, you could end up spending a lot of time putting a score down that isn't going to count. I've done this before. I speak from experience. So this is why I say it's important to end all your runs, or I think you should end all of your runs, if you have a terrible memory like mine. So tonight we're going to be looking at Siege of Heaven. We're going to be looking at the sigils. It's a bit late for the normal game to put a decent run in at the moment, like a really high-scoring one, but it is doable, you know, to just jump on there and get some shots in and get a score down and off from there. So, what are we going to do first? Well, you probably knew. You probably knew. We're going to do some Orphan Annihilation, because this is my little quick-fire secret technique for getting a decent little score together very quickly with the bow on Fletcher. And I would like to think that what I'm going to show you here is recreatable, and it's also a lot of fun as well. I don't think you do have to die for a run to count. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. So I don't think you do have to die for a run to count. I don't even think you have to rest in Sanctuary. If you die, or if you quit the game, it'll count as basically run lost, and it'll put your score onto the leaderboard. Every time you rest in Sanctuary, it updates your score onto the leaderboard. And hello, Ellie. Every time you rest in Sanctuary, it updates your score onto the leaderboard. But as I just stated, the reason why I make sure I die in all of my runs is then I know they are over, and then there's no confusion next season of you continuing something that you think is scoring and it's not. So what we can do, so Fletcher, for those of you who don't know how it works, the only thing that we're going to get during this run is life back. We get one random special arrow assigned to us every time we fire. So at the moment I have Winter's Bite. If I fire and miss, I'll miss a couple. But you'll see, because the indication, you hear it, but the indication for losing life during this is not very good. So for missing a shot, i.e. planting it into the wall, firing it off into the sky, shooting the floor, you take damage. This mode is not for the faint-hearted. This mode is bloody difficult. It can be a lot of fun. The reason why it's difficult is because basically shit happens. As you are firing arrows, the effects of those arrows can kill enemies at inopportune times. Like, there's 5 explosive arrows there, and then a knight comes wandering along, I go to shoot him, that explosion goes off, knocks him out the way, my arrows fly off into eternity, and I lose life. One of the things to note with this mode, and it's probably something I don't talk about enough, is that Divine Sight variants of the arrows and Cupid's Wrath variants of special arrows do not count if you miss. So we make use of that. We take advantage of that. Now, so if I'm saying this mode is hard, because it is, and the reason why it's hard is you can't get away with missing. And if you're anything like me and my accuracy, you know, it's difficult. And a lot of these special arrows, like, we can all be accurate if you can fire multiple arrows, but making sure you're hitting the target first time every time is difficult. It is. So one of the things that we can do, instead of clearing the entirety of the level, we're just going to go after the most valuable shot there is. And the most valuable shot there is in the level is the Orphan. And the way you can wait, and another one, you can wait as well. We're going to go after just the Orphan. Now, normally I would play this, but it'll take some time to do. I can talk about it as we're going. Normally, I would also go in the pits, but the pit Orphan is worth about 2.5 times the amount of points that a normal Orphan is worth. Now, what I have done is I have painstakingly, whilst you guys have been watching, found enemies to shoot until I get a multi-shot arrow with which to annihilate the Orphan. I want to be able to jump in there and kill her with one hit, because anything more than that and you run the risk of missing. And there we go. She's dead. That's 25,000 points. And I'm leaving. This is where your cycle skipping, rooftop hopping, bottom dwelling skills come in. No 45-degree angles there. No, no, no. So we're literally going to leave. You can do some arrow cycling at this stage, like with like fairly easy enemies that you can make just stand around to try and get something good to go in Anakim with. But I mean, Divine Sight 5's not too bad. The other beauty that you have with Fletcher is, especially in the beginning, we are actually incredibly powerful. Most people, when they first start, and to quite a few cycles in, will just spam Anakim down with explosive arrows. We're actually a little bit more powerful than that, because we've got more than just explosive arrows. We've got all sorts of nasty things. Oh, gonna have to jump. Holy Light is the only one to watch out for that can catch you out. And the only risk that you run with Anakim, I mean, what did I fire then? I don't know. 15 shots, maybe? I know it's not... It's more than if you had Cat 5, but it's probably less than if you had Cataclysm 1. People are used to the tactic of burning Anakim down. You can do it very effectively with Fletcher. Stand on this pillar and start shooting a little bit sooner than I did, and just let him have it. Try and aim for the sort of neck or head, if you're confident, at this range, and then that accommodates the heavy arrows that you have. Because if you look at Holy Light when I fire it, if I fire it straight, a normal arrow would hit the wall. But that literally curves straight down to the floor. That's where you will take your damage during these things. So, good question, Ray. I don't know. The numbers with the arrows, I think, it'll be something to do with this is how they managed to get it to code and display. I would imagine it'll be some sort of relic or some sort of leftover bit of code, or it might just be something, they got everything working fine and they couldn't figure out how to get rid of it, so they just fucking left it. It doesn't mean anything as I understand it. So, you can take damage close to him, so you do have to be careful. But at the earlier cycles, his aura is a lot smaller than when he is at the later cycles. So, providing we can do what I just did, bounce through the level, kill the Orphan in the level, and then kill the boss, well, that's 25 grand and a bit of change from the couple of enemies that we killed. If you can brave the pits, bear in mind you have to kill everything in the pit before you can come out. That would be another 62,500 or 63,000 onto your score. And if you can kill every Orphan going across a cycle, that'll net you about, well, because you'd have to do the entireties of both pits as well, will net you about 250,000 to 300,000 points. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when the top scores are in the 2 or 3 millions, you know, 500,000 is a lot of points. Even 100,000 for people on Fletcher is a lot of points. The one thing that you do get with Fletcher is you do get quite a lot of guaranteed offerings of life. So if we can reduce our life loss through hits, and we can completely minimize or get rid of our damage taken through misses, then we should have a pretty easy life of it. Now, the only difficulty comes in this way of doing things. The only way of doing this effectively, as far as nailing the Orphans each and every time, and we've actually got a good arrow here, for earlier ones anyway. This isn't one of the best, but it is a 5 times arrow. I'll explain why 3 and 5 times arrows that pierce, i.e. that dig in, not Cupid's Wrath times 3, that dig in are important. One of the things that is important, you need to know where the Cupids are. Now, I can't tell you exactly where they are, and that will come from experience, because they're limited to the amount of spawns. Like, I can look at a configuration and go, oh, well, like, for instance, on this... Oh, shit. Is that going to go? Yeah, okay. On this configuration, the Orphan can spawn in here. She can spawn on top of there. She can spawn Let's get up high. Would you guys stop firing? You're not supposed to do this. It's because I fire teleport arrows all over the show. She can spawn down there. She can spawn right at the bottom down there as well. She can spawn along there. She can spawn... In fact, this one's got a lot of places that she can spawn. But the other bit of knowledge that you can have to help cut down knowing where she is... And... There is a... Careful, weebs. I don't think you're right. I don't think it is worth 300 quid. Not for a pair of controllers that are marginally better. So, I'll explain in a minute, but one of the things that Weebs is glossing over is the fact that it took us half an hour to get them working when he came over. And that wasn't the first time, and it won't be the last. Where's this orphan, then? So, one of the things that I can tell you about Orphan location, the Orphan is always in the last section of Purgatory, the second section of Paradise Lost, hence why I'm looking round, and can be in either section... Oh, there she is. Can be in either section of... Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying they are worth 300. I don't think they are. And, yeah, so you will find her in third section of Purgatory, or Desolation, but I couldn't tell you where they are in Desolation because I don't go there. Second section of Paradise Lost, and the Orphan can be in either section 1 or 2 of Abyss. So that one can be the more difficult one. But as I said, if you can eliminate... So I'm not even asking you at this point to do the pits, and we'll go through a cycle, see what my score is. It won't be great, but we'll then try and kind of estimate where we would be on the leaderboard. I might find that a bit difficult because my scores are a bit high. But the thing is, most people try and play this mode correctly, and either ability is lacking, or being used to the mode and missing, costing you life is a big factor. And so, of course, the scores are very low in comparison to any other leaderboard. I mean, you look at the scores in Paradise Lost, in Purist, you look at the scores in Mortal, well, the scores in Purist are definitely double the top score in Purist. They're definitely double that of what you can achieve in Fletcher, or what people are getting in Fletcher. So the long and short of it is that part of the reason why I always show off this way of doing it first is because I think this is the best place. Oh, perfect. This is the best place for you. I can probably face tank. Yeah, sod it. And again, look how I'm face tanking him. Okay, I've taken 2 hits, but I know I'm getting 3 things of health back at the end of this, and we're on full health. So as long as I don't take more than 3 hits just by face tanking him. We did get a little bit lucky there with the Hand of God. You might not get that, but just do him the normal way. Wait for him to swoop down, turn and look away and make sure you can't see the whites of his eyes, and then come back round, shoot, 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 and keep doing that, and then lure him from pillar to post, as I've shown everybody numerous times. So, and I think it was Ellie was saying like, oh, I can't do it. Yeah, I love this game, but I'm absolutely 100%. Sip up cherry kites. That's what the lady said to me on my TTS, and I've never heard that expression before. I assume that means that you are not good. But the thing is, that's part and parcel of why I'm doing this stream, is for those of you who don't think you have the ability, or haven't got the time, or something along those lines, try and show you a way to just get a bit of a score on the leaderboard before the end of season. Because the thing is, just getting a handful of legend points will get you some new shiny things, especially if you are at the lower level. I remember my first changeover of season, there was no video. Missed it. Never missed that shot. Ask my chat, they'll tell you. I remember when I first started playing in the season play, nobody told me anything about what season play was like, and no one really knew. And I kind of thought that we had a little bit of a mentality in Death where, like, people knew but weren't saying anything. It's like, come on, man. So, turns out that the first season didn't really mean much. And then the legend points came in, and again, nobody knew because they were new, so we could only go off of experience. So that's part and parcel of why I do what I do, so that people are informed, so that you know. So, Orphan is the target that we want to go for here. And as I said, the Orphan can be in the first or the second section of Abyss. So that's the prize. I am going to get real close and get... Well, no, you can do that. I'll explain why I don't think that that's a good way to play. If you can do that, then happy days. But I'll explain why that's not... or not the way that I play this. Or not the way that I play this to try and put a decent score together quickly. If you've got time, yes, you should. I've started doing that. Now, I put that shot into that monk not for the headshot points. Note how I was extremely close, so there is very little chance of me missing. And even in those circumstances, don't be afraid to go for body shots. We're not trying to score from the level. We are trying to get the Orphan and leave. Now, I have the arrow that I want, volley 5. So this is another 5 variation arrow. The reason why I recommend to go for the multi-arrow variants, as in more than one arrow in the display when you fire, is because if you are close enough, even though that spread would take these arrows away or like around the head of the thing that you're shooting at close range, if you are very close, all 5 go in and all 5 do all of that extra and additional damage. Now, what I'm doing here, or trying to do, is I'm trying to pass over the locations that I know the Orphan is in. This is rooftop hopping. There's lots of locations that the Orphan can be in. You've got to come back here to see if she's there. She can also be up there on this one, and we didn't hear her at the beginning. She can't be down here. She can be in here. There she is. We hear her, and we go in, and it doesn't even matter at this stage if we get hit, but we go in right nice and close. Note how there's only one arrow there, but she took 3,000 points of damage from one arrow. That's because she didn't take 3,000 points of damage from one arrow. That was all 5 arrows going in her head. Because if you look at the arrows, that one would fly off this way, that one would fly off that way, and that one would go there. Even at something like a meter in front of you, these 2 would go around the head. But because of how the hitboxes work in this game, they just all embed in the face, and that's what does that fatal damage. Now, the other thing I should have had a look for, but I didn't, let's hope it's over here, is, so I know what was said earlier about, like, you know that you're going to be getting life at the end of the level if you kill the boss, and there's also the possibility of getting additional life back if you can beat the pits as well. And that's good, that's all well and good if you know what you're doing, you're happy with the game and you want to play that way. I do that from time to time as well, but what I'm trying to show off here is a way to get a semi-decent score with not a lot of skill or knowledge or, you know, playtime in the game. Just asking you to go out there and kill the Orphans. Again, this is part of the reason why I say you need to have high percentages unlocked on your profiles. If you don't have high percentages, there's a likelihood that you won't have the Orphans unlocked for all of these levels, and so you can't copy what I'm doing here. So, and as you said, you're quite right with the life thing. I could put some headshots into some monks until I have lost some life or get to the end, and then stop. The problem that I find with Fletcher, and I believe is the case with everyone from new beginner to wily vet and everything in between, is once a run in Fletcher starts going to shit, it fucking cascades, and all of a sudden you're on full life and then you're on 2 or 1 or death. Because, like, you know, I don't know, you fire a shot and miss. You then take a hit. that incites panic, because you panic when you take hits. It's very easy to do. And then an enemy hits you whilst you're in that panic. You snap off a shot. That's another life loss because you missed. You try and correct and hit that one. Something comes behind you, you miss that shot. And all of a sudden you're losing 4, 5, 6 blocks of life. And your errors are just getting compounded. I know this because I've done this. There's our pit. I know this because I've done this many, many times. Hello. Now, this is a spot that I like to sit in when I'm looking for the pits. Now, I did say we weren't going to do the pits, and part of the reason is because pits can, especially in Purgatory, are A, fucking hard, and B, take quite a long time to do, whereas the pits in Abyss are easier, sort of, and don't take anywhere near as long to do. So we're going to try that. This part's always quite difficult, especially for these ones. But all you can really do is keep on throwing arrows out there and hopefully get some good ones, like Cupid's Wrath is obviously a great one for that situation. What you could also do as well, because ghosts can be a problem in Fletcher, you better believe it, but it's more to do with the enemies in this room. This room I'm talking about in this circumstance being a problem. Is you could do what I was saying about, you could kill some enemies in the level to cycle to an arrow that would be really good for clearing the room, like Cupid's Wrath, Cupid's Wrath times 3, and then come back in here with those specific arrows for that specific job. I hear somebody walking. No, never mind. I can hear somebody walking. He's above me. Why isn't he coming down? What you doing? Never mind. Sodger. Right, so, again, we don't have to go in this pit, but I do find, and I hope you lot will agree as well, I do find that the pits in Abyss are a hell of a lot easier than the pits in Purgatory. And it's as much to do with the types of enemies as it is to do with the enemy count. Now, Despair is probably, for the purposes of Fletcher, the easiest of the two pits, and the reason being is because the Orphan, which is what we're here for, is an easy take. Now, the only thing that might be quite difficult about this is where the Cupids are and the arrows that you get. And I'm getting hit, but I don't even care at this point. We're not even taking much damage. We're only taking 1. So we'll just rattle our way through this. Cupid's Wrath, that is a great arrow to do that. That'll kill a lot of Cupids. Again, trying not to, when I am killing enemies or cycling arrows, you'll note that I try and get nice and close. You don't have to go for the headshot. You can just go for the body shot. The head... Stop it! That's because of lightning. Look at that guy. What a champ. The... Going for the body shot is obviously not going to score you any points. You will get the gold out of it, but that's a lot of the time what you're firing shots for is not to score, but to get the arrow that you need. That's what I'm doing right now. I want a specific arrow so that when the Orphan comes, we've got an arrow to deal with her, and we haven't found one yet. So we're going to cycle some arrows here. Cupid's Wrath times 3 is not going to cut it, but I've only got a limited number of enemies, so I'm going to plant that in the wall. Cataclysm times 5 isn't bad. It's not a great one for later cycles if you can get far doing this, but it will one-shot KO her, which is what we want to do. So we get right next to her, right in the head. That's 62,500 points, I think it is, or 63,000. Now, the only other thing that we have to do now is we just have to kill enough enemies for the incubi to spawn, and then we can leave. And you know what? One of the things that this will do for you, if you're not used to playing like this, is it will give you that familiarity. As I said the phrase to Weeble just yesterday, you've got to go in the pit lots and lots and lots. You've got to go in the bosses and do them lots and lots and lots, because familiarity breeds contempt. You get so familiar with them that it's not that they're no longer a challenge, but then they become easier for you. And then the longer you do that, And the more you do that, that is a classic example of why Fletcher is hard. I fired my shot as an explosion went off that killed the enemy, and I genuinely lost a life because of that. And this is why Fletcher is hard, because all of these effects that are going off, killing enemies whilst you're firing additional shots off, like Curse of God and Pestilence and the various explosive damage, various explosive arrows and the homing arrows and the homing explosive arrows, these can all be an absolute nightmare. And that's then not factoring in that, well, enemies move, and sometimes in really weird ways. As me and Weebs were talking about as well, you've also got the issue of tracking as well. You know, you might pull the arrow and your tracking might fuck up because you haven't got pros. I know, Weebs. No, but again, if you do pull the arrow and it is going to fire like that, you'll see it before you fire. And my advice is, put the arrow back, let go, redraw. And the reason why I give that piece of advice is because it used to happen to me all the time. It's the one thing that I will say of the pros. I don't think I've had that yet, and I've had them for a while now. So, because they're not trying to guess where my hand is going, that's part and parcel of the reason why it works. I'm not denying that the Quest Pros are better. Obviously, you know, I think you all know my feelings on that. I suppose that my concern is I wouldn't want anyone running out and buying Quest Pros because I think that they're good. Because I know that they're good. And if you don't think that they're better than Quest 3s, then you probably, Quest 3 controllers, you probably need to have your head examined. They are undoubtedly better, but it's always about value proposition. Are they worth the money? This is a big thing to me. It's what I bang on about. You know, like, to be fair, the sales that have been on recently, these 90% sales that we've all been benefiting from, are an absolute bane to me. Because even if the game is crap, I can't not buy something that's normally £22.99 for £2.09. It's just too good a value proposition. Even if I'm never going to play the game, or it's just going to sit there in my library, it's that whole fear of missing out. And I've been in situations where I haven't pulled the trigger on those sort of games, and then I've had, like, nieces, nephews, kids, relatives and whatnot that want to come around and play, and they want to have a look at something, and I'm then thinking, like, bloody hell, that game would have been perfect. Ah, well, never mind. I'll just put them on Cosmo Dread. I don't know if anybody's ever seen an 8-year-old on Cosmo Dread. Let me tell you, it's fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The thing is, I say that I won't play these games, but there's always that time when it's like, fucking hell, I'm bored of everything. What could I play? You know, it's end of season. There's no point me carrying on, starting a new run or doing something different. I need another game to go and play. I was highly impressed with what I saw from Zombieland. I've always thought that that game looks fun. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But it always looked fun, and I do love shooting games from, like, the whole trying to do the, I suppose, Time Crisis sort of thing. And that's probably more Time Crisis-y than a lot of games. It just hasn't got the pedal. But it's got its own style and it's got its own feel. I'm so happy with that game at £1.50. Even if I play it a couple of times, there is, for those of you who like it, a roguelike mode within that as well. That's where I would be spending my time on it when I spend some time on it. So it's one of the ones that I was considering streaming. In fact, we could do an after party on that. That wouldn't be a bad shout, because it's 90% off right now, and there might be some miser out there, probably Weeble, who's like, £1.50 for a shooter game, well, that's a bit much. I know, Weebs, I know you've already got it. I'm just using you as an example because you are the only person that I know that is as miserly as I am. So, and I'm not even that bad. You're definitely worse. So, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad shout. So for those of you who don't know, and I'll come back to the Quest 3s in a minute, but... Sorry, the Quest Pros in a minute. For those of you who don't know, there are a host of codes out there at the moment. I think Game Attack has put them all down, and we've got them across the various Facebook groups, on my Discord, and so on and so forth. And thank you for the people that have been posting them as well to share them with others. And basically what they are Summerfest codes that can get you 90% off of the game. So at the moment there is Zombieland Headshot Fever, I think I've spoke about. And Max Mustard is another one at 90% off. There's 40% off the Tetris game, which I do like the look of, but Tetris is still Tetris, even if it is in VR. But, it's... I like Tetris. I don't know if I want it in VR. So, if it was 90%, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. 40%? Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait, see if it goes down really cheap. I like the idea of that 100 mode in Tetris, where there's 100 people playing, and it's the last person to, survive, like a battle royale, but in Tetris. That appeals, but 40% off does not, because I'm a miser, as we discussed. I think there's another game at the moment called Grow something. That's not really of interest to me, and that's 80% off, so I'm not going to get that one. What were the other ones? There is the anime manga one. Someone will put in the chat. I think Von put that one up the other day. There's an anime manga one, which is a bit of a walk-in. I like anime and I like manga, but it's that cutesy style, and I don't know if I want to be subjected to that within my VR headset. So, but yes. Hello, Bick. How we doing? So, we've got all of these games that have got these 90% discount codes off, and they are worth having a look at, some of them, I think. There was one other. Oh, yeah, and Death Horizon Reloaded. That came out today, so that is the original game from the game Death Horizon Cyber Fusion that we were showing off the other week, that's in development now. And Death Horizon's one of my first games on the original Oculus Quest. That game has come a hell of a long way. And I know why. I mean, I've kind of known why to begin with, why they're doing this. But the reason why is so that loads of people, just like me and you, go out and buy the game to put the game in the top 10, I think. And it's a good marketing strategy, At this point, a lot of those games, people who haven't bought them already are probably not going to, but then at 90% they would, and it raises them. If you look at the top 10 bestsellers right now, you've got Asgard's Wrath 2 and then Zombieland Headshot Fever. So marketing works once again. Now, with Asmo, do not fire any homing arrows at him. Homing arrows don't count for purposes of life loss. Homing arrows go in the floor. Now, what I should have been doing is cycling arrows on his body, because you can actually hit him anywhere on the body, or in the arms even, if it boxes there, and it'll count as a hit. If his shield is up, it will not count as a hit. Now, we want to find something explosive, let the skulls come close enough to touch us, and then we simply move away. Don't have to put a shield up, none of that nonsense. It is the way that his explosive skulls work. And again, this is down to make sure you have the achievements, because the achievements make the fuse longer, which allows you to do this technique. When the skulls get close enough, it's just proximity to player. Don't have to have a shield up, don't have to have an arrow drawn or your bow out or anything along those lines. Shield up, shield down, whatever. When the skull gets to a certain range of you, it will blow. Okay. Yeah, no, I've had that on multiple occasions, actually, Ellie. It's one of the things that the pros are absolutely shit for me is, this is a very small case. But one of the problems that I have with the pros is that, as somebody who does a lot of videos, so I record my voice for my videos. I then go and make the video to match the voice. I go and make the video to match my voice across an entire video. Then I put the headset and the controllers down and leave them on standby, try and edit what I've done to what I have, and then I then have to go back to the headset and do some more recording to like fill the gaps of what I might have missed or what didn't turn out very well. And the problem is when I go back after like 20 minutes, half an hour, these bastards disconnect. So I then have to restart the headset, and that's really annoying. It's not like, you know, game breaking, but imagine you didn't know that and you were in the middle of a run and your controller's disconnected, and the only way that you can wake them up is by resetting the headset. Well, if you can't get to a save point, that's run over. No saves, you're done. Start your run again. All that time down the drain. That was lucky. Incubi are a good source. Hello, K2. Incubi are a good source of points if you are lucky enough to get divine sights. Try and shoot them high so that they angle down onto the head. And if you can be far enough away from them, remember what I said about distance and headshots? You can get quite a lot of points for free out of these guys. But other than that, just aim for the body because they're easy shots. Where, you know, you're not trying to score out of these guys, but as you are getting shots off and as divine sight turns up, then by all means step back and fire high. So, and yeah, the pros have got worse with 66. Because I haven't heard anybody reporting these problems, and then all of a sudden everybody started reporting these problems and I wasn't getting them, and I can't remember if I'm on 66, 65 or 66 at the moment, but it started happening to me now. So yeah, you know, I've had a see, I've tried that. I've tried the problem is, to unpair them, you then have to go through the menus using the volume control, and that can actually be quite difficult if both of them have unpaired. And I've had it when they unpair, and I've tried unpairing them, repairing them, resetting them. You guys all saw me fuck around with it in that mud stream when my hand just disappeared. And the only way that I could sort it out, I mean, we were rushing because I wanted to stream it, obviously, and get some time in on it, but the only way that I found to be able to reliably get them to come back on is to reset them. And I had it yesterday when Weebs was over. No, always ask. Always ask. But then this is the thing, Ellie. This is why I say what I say, as far, especially in my live streams, and I don't know, in life in general, is ask you questions and wear a hard exterior. The likelihood is as well that by you asking, you might be helping somebody else out and you don't even realise it because they were too afraid to ask, or they didn't know how to ask or who to ask. So you'll never get any stigma from me on questions, whether I've answered them 1,000 times before. So, and yeah, as Weebs says, yep, nope, that never works. And then it's got the audacity, after it's given you that message and you've done all that, it's got the audacity to then turn around and go, yeah, sorry mate, couldn't connect. It's like, fuck off. You've just told me to reset and now you're saying, nah, sorry mate. Nah, what I just told you to work didn't work. We've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. Yeah, nice one, Meta. Cheers. Hopefully they'll sort it out. I doubt it. It's not too bad a problem. It's not like a deal breaker. But as I said, for those of you who are thinking, oh, pros, they're just better and it's all pros, no cons, you'd be lying. I'd be lying to you if I said that is not the case. Things are not rosy with the pros. There are problems. So, for those of you who haven't done Asmo, I probably should have been talking about strategy on Asmo then. You want to In the first section, you want to be looking for multi-shot explosive arrows to try and kill all of those balls in one. Avoid homing arrows like the plague. In the second section, you want homing arrows because it just makes your job a lot easier. In this third section, we want enough to deal with that little group there because you have to. And then we want an arrow that isn't going to kill everything and just kill the archer. Sometimes that is not possible, but that's what we want. The reason being is if we just kill the archer and don't kill any of these boys, the next wave and the wave after that with the Cupids won't spawn. And those waves are very fucking difficult. Let me demonstrate. So, as you can see, the other archers should have spawned by now if I was playing this properly, but I'm not. I just killed the archer, haven't killed the abominations. I think you can get away with a couple of kills, or 3 kills here, but let's see. That's 1 dead. I think it changes as you go up cycles as well. That's 2, and they still haven't spawned. 3. So 3 is the magic number. 3 kills, or 3 of these enemies dying, and then everybody shows up. And it just makes everything a nightmare, because now I'm being shot at, this cunt's throwing rocks at me, and, you know, it's getting nasty, isn't it? And look, even I'm taking hits, because I'm probably not used to doing this and dicking around a little bit, if I'm honest. So, and then if we kill all of these guys, then what else shows up? Cupids. Now, at this stage, if the Cupids weren't here, Asmo is really easy to take out. You just cycle arrows on him and then start throwing homing arrows on him. Hello, Guitar. How we doing? It's always me. The clue's in the channel, Guitar. How you doing, dude? Thanks, Vorm. Battery is low. So, yeah. But again, we can, because we haven't been losing life through the levels, or losing the minimum of life through the levels, and just taking out the orphans, and I'd say not going into the pit in Abyss, if you're familiar with it, I think you should. Not going into the pit in Purgatory is not a bad idea. Many a player are dying in the pit of Purgatory, trying to play this the proper way, or even trying to play it the way that I'm showing you right now. In that circumstance, skip Purgatory, and then get the Orphan in Paradise Lost, make sure you do, and then make sure you get the Orphan in Abyss. And then I would have said, regardless of your skill level and your inclination to whether to avoid pits or not, the pits in Abyss are significantly easier. Significantly? A damn sight easier than the pits in Purgatory. So, let's go to Purgatory and let's check our score, and I'll try and kind of estimate where that would get us. And, you know, again, I've been chatting. I haven't really been going at any sort of speed. I've been pissing about a little bit. And I'm still in cycle 2 now. So we've completed the game-ish. And we're starting again. And all I have done is the pit. I've done the Orphan. Killed the Orphan in Purgatory. Killed the Orphan in Paradise Lost. Killed the Orphan in Abyss. And killed the Orphan in the Abyss pits and the enemies in the Abyss pits. If you can do the pit in Purgatory, you can add another 120,000 odd to that score, at least. And that'll give you 300,000. And 300,000, I will tell you now, will get you a surprisingly decent amount of height on those leaderboards. Maybe I shall... Oh, here you go. Right. Silly Cone. This is one of the top players in the world. I say one of because he's just below me, immortal, by 2.5 million, which might as well be 2.5 billion. He knows this. Flex. So, but to show why he is top currently on the crossbow for Fletcher. But if we look at somebody, I shouldn't use him as an example. He is a very good player. I'll just say that. Oh, there you go. And Athom is also a very good player, but he's only got 400,000, and we've got half of that just by doing a bit of cycle skipping. He's 34th in the world. Silicone, who could basically do what I do and get every single orphan, is 25th in the world. And if you don't think that that's a good number, then there is something wrong with you. 25th in the world on anything is fucking good. So, except maybe like a shit eating contest, you probably wouldn't want to rank highly in that. So, but 25th, 600,000. And the difference is, as well, the people who finish first will get, I think it'll be 2,000 legend points. It was 2,000 last season. The people that finish like in the top 5 will get, it'll go like 990, 980, 970, 960, and then 950. And then it'll be 950, or sorry, 1,950 for several places below that. And then it'll be 1,900 for quite a lot of places below that. So what my point is here is this is why I try and find these ways to do things. Not to try and like, oh, look at me, I'm the big I am. I can do Fletcher in such and such, in such and such a way, and it's completely different. I'm not one of these people that's going to start going around going like, I bet you can't do what I can do, and try and change the rules of the game. No, no, no. What I am trying to do is show you something repeatable so that you can be up here too. I think that is important. I think that is very important. Hello, Petter. That is a good question, Petar. Would you like me to show you? I will show you. Okay, I can tell you. Good question, Guitar. Petar, I will get to where we need to show off why not to use homing arrows, hopefully, because I can do that quite quickly. So, here we go. This one's for you, Petar. That's a lot of misses. Right, anyway. So we're gonna go to Abyss now, and I'll show you what I was talking about on Asmo. I'll give you a live example. And I'll talk whilst we're cycle hopping there. I'll tell you what you need to do, Guitar. So, oh, hang on. Let me show. Petar, I'll get there in a minute. Hello, Ken. Petar, I'll get there in a minute. Guitar, I just want to show you something in the achievements. And this is, like, you know, because it's all well and good me telling you, but it's good to also, I'm not saying this because I don't want to tell you, but it's kind of like yeah, I suppose it is. It's a lesson in words and terminology, I suppose. Now, let's find the achievement first and foremost. The other thing as well is it's one of the arrows that I would potentially, if this is a multiple playthrough, it's one of the arrows that I would probably avoid because it's fucking useless. And if it turns up during a run, if you didn't have it unlocked, there's a chance that it wouldn't. But, you know, 100% complete, I still stick by it. So, because, you know, if you don't unlock it, there'll be a fucking tournament where it's the arrow that you need and you haven't got it. Guaranteed. So, yeah, always get it right. Fire and ice. Kill a frozen enemy with fire. No, it's fine. It's fine. I can get there. I can get there in 5 minutes with my eyes closed. Don't you worry about it. So, and I don't need to. I've got a good enough score on the bow on... I've done my work this season, so... Kill a frozen enemy with fire. Okay, so we know that for the enemy to be frozen, they would need to be hit with ice first. And then we would need to kill them, or at least that's how I would read the English. Adds pestilence to the world. So, the next thing that we have to ask us is what counts as frozen? And the answer is a little bit more difficult than you'd think. Hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate it. But Well, I can't demonstrate it because I can't unlock it live for you. But this is a long-winded and roundabouts way, Guitar, the way I'm sure you like to be fed your information, of... Hello, Op. Yeah, it does feel that way. When the enemy is taking tick damage... When the enemy is taking tick damage, i.e. the little blue numbers that come out, that is counted as the enemy being frozen. After 8 ticks, I think it is, with Winter's Bite, no more ticks come out. And although the enemy still is frozen and looks frozen, and we know this because they're iced and they're not fucking moving, they are not counted as frozen. So basically what you have to do is you have to shoot an enemy and shoot something like a knight, a white knight or a monk on cycle 1. You have to shoot the enemy with the Winter's Bite, quickly change to wildfire, and then headshot them with a wildfire. And what that then means is that the enemy will definitely be frozen because they're still taking tick damage from Winter's Bite. And then... Ooh. Right? And then... I saw that today as well, Op. That was great. Spanish or English? Excellent. Excellent, that one. I literally saw that today in my YouTube feed on the shorts. That's a great little meme. So yeah. So basically, I knew that... I'm glad you... See, these are the reasons why I love being questioned about these things. Because I spent about 2 hours working out what they meant. So that when people ask me, I can give you the ins and outs of it, the roundabouts of it, and exactly why it works. Because it's all well and good me telling you, and it may even all be well and good me showing you, but if I don't explain it the right way and like give you the details, you still might not get it. So I like to try and explain it and cut it out as many ways as I can. So the long and the short of it is freeze, immediately headshot with a wildfire, and hope for the kill. That way, the enemy will definitely be taking tick damage when you kill them with the wildfire, and then that achievement will pop. And if it doesn't, it's fucking bugged, Guitar, and you don't need Pestilence anyway. Yeah, there's like part of the reason why I took the time to find that out is there was a lot of people that were like, I can't get it to work, I can't get it to work, I can't get it to work, and then it like takes them 5 or 6 times of trying the different possible combinations to get it to work, and then eventually it pops and nobody knows why. So that's why I wanted to make sure. But yeah, so what Super Bright deem as a frozen enemy in this game is that they are taking tick damage. This is also useful knowledge, and this will lead me on to what I hope is going to be one of your follow-up questions in the future, Guitar, is, so how do I get Winter's Bite upgraded? Well, the writing on the card clearly states... kill so many enemy, freeze so many enemies, or kill so many enemies that are frozen, I think the wording is. Let's go and check. Let's go and check. And so now we know what the game means by frozen, and not it's a little bit different to what is actually classed as frozen. But because we know through one achievement what is meant by frozen, then we can extrapolate that and use that on other achievements. Yep, I believe so. I believe it does. As long as, so I think as long as they are taking tick damage, the wording on the achievements. But how many is that? Yeah, it's 8 as it happens. A large number is 8. And I can show you exactly what the distance of inconceivable is. But, you know, but you're not told, and it's annoying. So, kill 266 frozen enemies. So if they've stopped taking tick damage and then you kill them with a headshot, that is not classed as frozen. If you Winter's Bite them and then kill them with something else before the tick damage ends, done. That is a kill. I believe that is the same, but I haven't had need to test that because that's actually quite a powerful arrow, and I believe you can just kill them with the arrow itself, in that the tick damage at the same time as the kill is applied. So even if it doesn't tick, it's still applied to the enemy and counts. So the point, as the arrow hits, they are burning, whether the tick damage goes off or not. So I believe that is the case. So, and the thing is, it's difficult to know that with this one because you can do that quite quickly. Whereas that arrow, even after you get this, is still quite weak on regular enemies. It's only good against the bosses, because for damage dealing at the very least anyway, because of how it works. So, and as someone was saying, yes, the writing on these cards is terrible, and in some cases it is completely fucking wrong. I am a rules shouldn't say that really. I am a rules strict person. I'm a rules Nazi, I don't care. So I live and die by the rules and the wording and the way that things are done and the way that things are said. And if they're not said properly, then it's just like missells and misinformation. And that's something I hate. Frozen damage over time deals additional damage based on 5% of enemies' maximum health or max health. This part is a lie. The rest is correct, but this part should read, frozen damage over time deals additional damage based on 5% of enemies' current health. There is a reason why you get diminishing returns from freezing Anakim on the higher levels. And the reason being is because each time you hit him, his life goes down. And that's why you do less and less and less tick damage to him with each consecutive freezing hell, or with each consecutive Winter's Bite arrow that you shoot at him. So this wording is wrong. If it was damage based on 5% of enemies' maximum health, you would be able to kill any level Anakim in about 10 Winter's Bites. No. 20 Winter's Bites. It would take you 20 Winter's Bites because you'd be doing 5% worth of his health damage each time. 5 times 20 is 100. 100%. If 100% of his life is gone, he's fucking dead. Right. Why don't you the homing arrows? It's a good question, and I've never actually showed it off. Now, remember what I said about when you shoot the boils that, hang on a second. I should say names. Right, so this one's for Pitta. So, when you shoot the boils... No, I'm not. I'm not bad at maths, but if I'm decent at maths, it's because I play a lot of board games, or I used to play a lot of board games. So, I still want to, but it's just difficult these days. Too much bloody videos and IDU to do, and VR and such. So when I pop a boil, a skull comes towards me. When that skull comes within a radius of me, because of my achievements, it sets off of its fuse, and then after, I think it's now up to 5 seconds, with the achievements that I've got, it will explode. Again, another reason to get those achievements, because it gives you tactical options and ways to do something that can be quite difficult. So when these skulls get towards me, they will explode after 5 seconds. Now, this might be quite difficult, but I'll try and show it off. Right, so I am now cycling my arrows for a homing arrow. Divine Sight times 5. I don't want that homing. Right, let's get rid of that Hand of God just by chilling out over here. I can show you off another fun fact as well, because the skulls will go through that and that might ruin my demo. Fun fact, with Asmo, if you stand on this second stepping stone and just stand here doing nothing towards this edge, and I don't even think it matters if you move across it, his rocks can only hit these pillars, and those pillars are indestructible for where he's hitting them. And the other thing to note as well is, whilst you are... Hang on, I'll check the math question in a minute, hang on. Whilst you are here, after every 3 throws, he has a little rest. 1, 2, 3. And there's an opportunity there for us to jump in and attack him whilst he's not winding up. So for anyone who's really struggling with Asmodeus, this is a completely legitimate and worthwhile doing tactic. You wait here, and then you wait for him to throw the 3rd one, and then you go. Right, so. Slow time. Why don't you use the likes of homing arrows on him? I'll try and do this in slow time in the hope that it works. We'll get a couple of arrows. So, we fire the homing arrows. One hits the boil. The others then turn around, follow the skulls in, and note how, depending on where it is... Oh, no, it didn't work that time. No, that one almost did. Right, we need more homing arrows. Hang on. Because it is only a chance, but a chance of losing life is one that I do not... Oh, fucking hell. So, what they didn't do on this occasion, and it's probably because I was using copious amounts of slow time... hang on, I'll die a second. Come on. There we go. So, what they didn't do, and it was probably because I was using a copious amount of slow time, is what happens is your first divine sight hits a boil, and then the other divine sights turn around and follow the skulls back to you, and they move at the same speed as the skull, which means that when the skull stops, the arrow impacts into the back of it, and that then instantly destroys the skull, damaging you, and that's why you don't do it. It is a lot less rare than what I just showed off then. It used to happen to me all the time, and then I was like, I ain't fucking using homing arrows on Asmo ever fucking again. So, hopefully that's all questions answered. What was the maths question? What's the probability and percentage of landing a natural 20? Well, it's 5%, isn't it? Because there's 20 sides on it. Come on now, give me a difficult one. And that's a fucking, you know... Oh, or are you using a weighted dice op? It's op card. He'll be using a weighted dice. So for him, it'll probably be like, I don't know, 15, 20%, something like that. I'm probably... No, I'm don't worry. Don't worry, Petter. I wanted to show it off. Your dice are definitely weighted up. So it almost worked. But yeah, I think it was because I was using like copious amounts of slow time, and even that can mess up trajectories on homing arrows. But Cupid's Wrath is even worse because that will destroy multiple boils, and then that means there's a lot of targets for the arrows to change up on. And as I said, the whole problem is that the arrows travel at the same speed of the skulls. If they traveled a little bit faster, it would be a fantastic arrow for taking out Asmo. It's just really bad. Problem with that arrow as well is it is great for every other stage of Asmo. It's just shit for that stage. Right. Would anybody like to see some failure? I hate purists. I need to end this run. What? Maybe we should do something different. Maybe we should do something different. I can't give you a quick way to make a decent score on Mortal. But if I was going to... But the thing is, like, if you look at the scores on Fletcher, the top scores are in the 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5 million. And on the crossbow, strangely enough, they're even lower. As far as Mortal is concerned, other than stupid people like myself and Laron and Mops, the scores aren't actually that high. And they look very high because, fucking hell, on Mortal, if we read Mortal, you die from a single hit. It's like, yeah, but enemies die from a single hit also. And there's no bosses to worry about. We don't have to worry about anything else. Oh, and in addition... any of these sigils that say no achievements progression, well, up until the last season, because I haven't checked this season because I haven't started a new one, this is also a lie. Your achievements, what I found with Mortal, is that the achievements don't pop, but the percentages do increase and you just get them. They just don't click. With Fletcher, they click, because I've had clicks in Fletcher. I don't know if that is still the case. Ooh, bad bit of UI there. I've never noticed that. Look at that. Can't even get the fucking boxes right. Look, clipped. I reckon that's because they took Runner out. God bless it. Rest in peace. And I ended up shuffling them because, yeah, because Mortal's shit. Anyway, what was the question? I'll show you something you can do on Mortal, though. Let's have a look. Do achievements in Siege of Heaven affect the regular game? No. Achievements in Siege of Heaven have no bearing on the achievements in the game, and vice versa. For all intensive purposes, think of achievements in Siege of Heaven and in the main game as two completely separate games for the purposes of. Achievements done in Siege of Heaven affect just Siege of Heaven. Achievements in the main game just affect achievements in the main game. By the main game, I mean the roguelike element, of which we can also count Purist, Fletcher, and Mortal. Strangely as well, if you are at a low percentage with Fletcher, you will still get all of the arrows coming up. So if you haven't got Hand of God as an arrow that you've unlocked, it will still come up as Fletcher. Stranger still, though, if you haven't got the upgraded versions of the arrows unlocked, you won't get the upgraded versions of Fletcher. This is why people who hadn't got all of their upgrades done could have done better in the Fletcher tournament, because I had all of mine upgraded, and as I said, and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it, they're doing it more and more often now, where if you haven't got 100% progression or near as damn it, and you should, you could find yourself at a disadvantage during the tournaments. And when it can, especially at the top, when it can come down to a couple of seconds or a few hundred points, do you really want to have a disadvantage? So, Mortal. What's useful to us amulets-wise? Fucking nothing. Crack on. You could argue spiritual assist, but I wouldn't even bother. Funnily enough, the only amulet that actually has any use to you on that board for Mortal is Wealth's Privilege. Slackers get what they deserve, right? Oh, fucking hell. So, yeah, the only achievement that's actually useful to you, unless you don't draw very well, and even then, it doesn't matter if you don't draw very well. If you're hitting them, you can draw like that. They die in one hit, be it a full draw, or a half draw, or a 1/3 draw. So even spiritual assist doesn't really matter. The only amulet that actually does anything for you tangible in Mortal is Wealth's Privilege. Why? Because you start the game with 1,500 gold, and the gold to points ratio is 1-to-1, whether you spend it or not. So that's 1,500 points in the bag. Which is the equivalent of like 5 enemy headshots, so it's not worth it. So, what does Mortal do? Doesn't matter how tiny a shot we do, 30 damage, he dies instantly. But for intensive purposes, as far as scoring is concerned, everything is the same. Now, I will show off my rooftop hopping. This is one of my routes that I would do. Ooh, that was shit. Bear in mind, a lot of the routes that I do for rooftop hopping, I have crafted on the crossbow. So some of these are a bit more difficult to do with the bow because you've got to spend longer with the teleport arrow, and you can't make the teleport arrow fly as far and as true as you can on a crossbow. So like for this one, I've got 2 routes that I like. You can go up onto that roof, and then kite around the big thing, or for the bow and arrow, you've just got to work on keeping things a little bit shorter. You'll note as well how there's little isolated pockets that I'm taking out and then moving on. You don't have to take them out, but when you're at cycle 20, 30, 40, you kind of want to. And note how I didn't go along there. Reason being, lots of enemies in that fucking courtyard. No, thank you. And we move along. enemies that come here and do that, unless you are flying. I mean, it's easy points as well, because they're separated from the pack. Unless you are flying, your teleport arrow is already going, just fucking leave them. Or, better yet, hold, slow-mo, turn around, fire the shot, and let the I'll show you. Teleport arrow is away, fire the shot, teleport arrow lands. And so I still get my kills, but I am still moving. That is something that I class as teleport killing. You do not have to use the crossbow to progress, no. And I would say it is easier to progress with the crossbow than it is with the bow, just because the nature of the crossbow, it is very powerful. I was checking for a position that the Orphan can spawn on this level, but it isn't this one, it's this one. I think it can still spawn in, there's two here, there's in there and over there. And what I'm going to show to you now is basically Orphanization of a different name. Now, it doesn't even need to be a headshot. We don't have to get close. She's only ever going to take one hit. Welcome to the Assassin of Joy technique. Not because it's fucking boring up before you say anything. I mean, that's partly why I call it that. But it's basically Orphanization, but I mean, I should call it Orphan Assassination. I don't know. Doesn't really need a name. It is, because if you don't put a run in and just kill a couple of enemies, you will definitely get nothing. So the way that I just killed that Orphan is because we're playing on mortal mode. And mortal mode is, I die in one hit, I have no life bar. They die in one hit, they have no life bar, in essence. Yeah, this is immortal, so this is different. So the crossbow is the best place to learn how to do your rooftop hopping or bottom dwelling, or a combination of the two. I should define these terms. What do I mean by rooftop hopping? Moving fast from rooftop to rooftop to stay away from the enemies, keep them from shooting at you or hitting you, and moving through the level quickly so the enemies that you aggravate despawn. Because when they despawn, they de-aggravate, or they're not there anymore and they're not going to try and push your shit in. Bottom dwelling is something that is the opposite. It's the same, but upside down. So this is something that Camille, who has a channel, and I suggest you go and watch it, because he used to be able to when he was playing it. He doesn't anymore, but because he's just basically got bored of it and hasn't got the time to do this on a game that he's bored on anymore. And I don't blame him either. But what he does is he does bottom dwelling, which is fantastic for Paradise Lost. In fact, bottom dwelling is probably less risky a hopping route than rooftop hopping. Why is rooftop hopping, bottom dwelling, why is getting through the level really fast and safely important? Well, I can tell you now on Mortal, if you can get up to really high cycles, you don't even have to headshot the enemies. They are worth so much gold that you can get into the silly amount of millions as far as points are concerned. So if you want to, I'll try and say what I can about these routes, but you can go back and record them later. You can usually get away with standing here and nothing's close enough to shoot at you, and then you go that. Or with the bow, what's probably safer is teleporting up there, killing the couple of enemies, and then firing your teleport arrow here. Now, the only thing that I will say, yes, we have slow time, and yes, the enemies only take one hit. Paradise Lost is the level that I would say is worth avoiding for... Yeah, no worries, guitar. Paradise Lost is the level that I would avoid getting the Orphan on unless you know where she is and you can get her easily. This is the level where you will take that hit that will end your run. Guaranteed. So, note, this is the route, this is the same route that I take for crossbow and bow. You then hit across to here. No, I tap slow time just before I'm landing and then hold it when I land. Why do I not hold slow time when the arrow lands? Because when the arrow lands, it cancels slow time. So you tap it until you land. He did. Yeah, he did. And he used a combination of, like, my roots, Cam's roots, and all the bits and pieces. And I think he covered absolutely everything. And I couldn't disagree with anything that he had on there. It was all good. I didn't hear the Orphan. So if I didn't hear the Orphan, she is probably in quite a tight and condensed area to get. Now, as I said, I, Silver Tongue Devil, will happily give you a pass to avoid Paradise Lost like the plague, because it's the trying to break down an area where an Orphan is in, regardless of the fact that she only takes one shot. She will be fucking surrounded. Some arrows will get fired. Some plasma will come your way. Some swords may get thrown in your general direction, and someone's going to have a fucking eye out. So if you don't know where she is, and she is not an easy shot that you can either take at a silly distance or like shoot and scoot, fucking leave her. And again, I am just killing the Orphans here. Now, again, like I said with Orphan Annihilation on the Fletcher side of things, if you just kill the Orphans in the level, and I would suggest going and killing the Orphan in the pit here as well. But even then, that's quite a lot of risk because you are having to engage quite a lot of enemies. So if you can avoid all of that like the plague, this is the only reason why pits are, I would have said, kind of optional at this stage, because it just takes one hit and it's all over. At least on Fletcher, you've got, you know, a life bar. Here we have not got that, and getting into the pits here can be quite fucking difficult, breaking down the level and doing the bits and pieces to just get in there. So the prize is always the Orphan. There are Orphans that even I will not take when I am playing Mortal. When you get used to cycle skipping, you'll find that you can cycle skip quite far into the game. And I'll tell you the ratios now. So the Orphan is in there. If I was at a high cycle, I might go for her. If I'm on a low cycle and I'm just trying to get the cycle numbers up, I would probably leave her. So this run, we have killed a grand total of 2 Orphans, and I'm probably not going to kill anything more than that as well. Let's just kill the 2 Orphans. Let's see what sort of score I can put together in the next 20 minutes, I guess. Because I tell you what, it'll be larger than you think, because we're not actually having to do anything. Abyss can be a bit of a twat for rooftop hopping. On this configuration particularly, going along the top there and coming down is alright, but you have to visit a lot of Cupids. I like to kill these 2. Depending on the cycle, I may take them out as well. You definitely have to take these ones out. And just body shots. Don't piss around trying to score headshots off of him. He'll just get you killed. And you kill that skull. Don't kill that skull. He'll fucking get you. I'm telling you now. From here, there is an Orphan spawn there. There is an Orphan spawn there. From sat on here, having killed the Orphans, there's sometimes an archer down there as well. Having killed the Sky Rats, the Cupids, and you might have to deal with those ones up there, especially if they've seen you or alerted from you bouncing down. And then from here, here's the cool part. You teleport to here. Why? Out of sight of everything, and you sneak along the bottom, a little bit of bottom dwelling, and if the Orphan was up there, you could go up, she spawns, shoot the Orphan, and go. And nothing will even be able to fucking fire at you. But we already know that the Orphan's gotten, so. I always make a point of, especially on the higher cycles, killing enemies like these ones that are isolated and easy kills. These these Cupids are also ones that you can go for. But this is the thing, is the way that Mortal works is the higher cycle you get, the more gold enemies are worth. So I'm not even talking about headshots here. I'm talking about body shots that anybody can do. And it works on, I don't know the exact math of it, but I think it's something along the lines of when you get to cycle 10, the enemies are worth... I have got a book. I wrote all of my information down. Oh, I'll just guess for now, but you get the idea. I think it was when you get to cycle 10, the enemies are worth 2.5 times the amount of gold, the base gold. Now, that's not much. When you get to cycle 20, they're worth 5 times the amount of gold. That's getting there. When you get to cycle 30, 7.5. Cycle 10, 10 times the amount of gold. And then... cycle 40, that is. And then cycle 50, they're worth like 12.5 times the amount of gold. I am on my Mortal profile that's still ongoing, and I'm still in a undetermined cycle. I'm getting approximately, well, I'll tell you now, when you get to high cycles, you will get approximately 5,000 gold per hit, per kill. And everything's dying in one hit. The other thing to note as well is when you get to a certain cycle in this game, be it Mortal, Fletcher, Purist, or the main game, and I think it was, somebody said to me recently it's cycle 12. I think it's a little bit higher than that, but we'll say cycle 12. I thought it was cycle 16, but people have said that it's been brought down. Basically, the enemy get to a point where they can only gain more life. They can't get faster. They can't get more accurate. They can't get more aggressive. They don't have a bigger aggression aura. They can be at higher cycles different variations and more likely to be different variations, but even that caps out at a point. So my point is here, if you can cycle hop to cycle 20 or say 16 or 15 or even 12, then you can cycle hop to cycle 50 or 100. Don't go to 100 though. The one thing that I will say, and I will tell you the exact figure at the end of the season, because I would like to get my first place on the crossbow. And to be fair, I don't think anyone's got time to catch me up now, and I can put more onto the score. But there is a point where the gold resets. And so if you go past that cycle, you might as well be starting from cycle 1 again. And I will leave it there. That is all the information that you are having. Because that's enough for you to be able to get a decent score, but hopefully not pip me. I would like to get the first on Mortal this season because Laurent challenged me. And as I said to him, I'm taking his Mortal score away from him for doing this. And I'm also going to prove a point and show him that maybe I shouldn't save this live. The reason why he's been finishing top of the Fletcher board leaderboards for quite some time now is because I'm not trying to get first. So we'll see if I can make good on that flex by the 25th. But to be fair, I'm probably going to run out of time because I'm going to have to play it properly, and that takes a long time. So Anakim's Fortress, Ruin, Bastion, whatever, over there, there is only one place that the Orphan can spawn on this third section. And it is... fuck off. It is right there. And Orphan Assassin, as Orphan Assassin does, you could wang as many shots at that as you wanted to until you hit it as well. I can shoot that at any distance and it's still worth the same amount of points. Unless I hit a headshot, in which case I get a little bit more. Don't aim for the headshot because it's one-shot death. Just kill it. Move along. Right. The thing is, after this season, because even I'm stupid for, like, bowing to the pressure of that, it's cost me probably, I don't know, 50, 60 hours of my time to work out how much I need, where I need to start scoring, how much leeway I need to give myself enough safety, and the actual doing of that theory as well. It's probably taken me about 60, 70 hours of my life. I could have been doing things much better than fucking about on Mortal. But then I figured it wasn't too wasted a time, because next season I'll go into immense amounts of detail so that everybody and anybody can do it. Not this side. So, route for... Right, Von? Fuck's sake, there's a reason why I'm not level 50 on Dungeons of Eternity, and it's not because the grind is fucking horrible. Anyway, where's my drink? Oh, there it is. So, I think this is another route that I can show you on Paradise Lost. I do these routes for safety. I am well versed. I am using a... I'll try and keep my bow out in front of me so you can see how much slow time I'm using. Fire shot. Wait for it to get close. Slow time, slow time, slow time, slow time. Now slow when we land. You need to get into the habit of doing that. If you're holding the slow time button as the teleport arrow lands, thinking that you are in slow time, you are not. And that's probably why you're taking hits. So you go on the right-hand side. You go up to this little door. You kill these guys that are in here. You can also kill these ones, but that's more to do with the fact that they're isolated. From this door, we go onto this little patch of snow. We go around the outside. Yes, they'll start aiming and firing at us, but we're moving already. Go to this corner. Aim up onto here. Look around you at this point as well if you don't make your first shot. We want to go up onto here. That's one. I usually take these guys out that are very close because there's not a lot of them on this bit. And then from here, we go up to here. Kill this one. Teleport across. And home. And one of the things that you can do with your cycle hopping as well is we've just alerted a load of enemies. And they can... And they usually do, to be fair. They can teleport on top of us, so like Cupids and various bits and pieces after we've done that little route may teleport on top of us. That can be a nightmare. If you get into here, right, so look where that knight is. He's fucking ready for some action there, that boy is. He's caught wind of us as we've been hopping, and he is now standing there ready to try and, you know, stove our shit in with that sword and axe combo that he's got. If we rest in Sanctuary, not only will that de-aggro all enemies, but it will also reset them to their original positions within the level. So if things are getting a little bit harem-scarum or you have to go back for some reason, never go back. But I don't know, I can't think of another reason why you would need to do this. I don't know, a load of shit teleports on top of you and you're standing on this. You fucking rest in Sanctuary quick sharp. And oh yeah, no, I've found that as well. I've had a Cupid do that. I've had monks teleport in front of me whilst I've been making a run for Gabriel's Island, and it's terrible. So it's not a bad shout to get into the practice of doing it whilst you are learning. But note how that knight has gone now. He's returned back to where he originally spawned. I'll show you if the teleport arrow is good. Because we landed here and he saw us and walked round. So there you go. It is a good tactic for not just mortal, but also things like purist. You can sort of like concertina or taffy pull lots of enemies towards you and deal with them, and then when it gets too much, fucking sprint for the save point, save, come back in, they've all reset and you can start again. You can clear levels quite safely that way, or quicker. You know, quick and safe are usually never the same thing. This is another configuration that if you know, this is hard, this one, and I used to go over the top, but it's fucking difficult, so I don't bother anymore. I take a page out of Camille's book and I bottom dwell across the snow. Oops, that's not where I was going. Make sure you stay tucked in tight, and then that way that they can't get you. And then our next shot is over to that one there. They will teleport down as well, so this is why, even though there is nothing going on, I am still tapping slow time, because whilst I'm showing these techniques off, I don't want to get embarrassed. I always kill that one. Bear in mind there can be two. Fire to the top. Shit, that was not the shot I was after. You can't make that with the bow, I don't think. So we'll have to make do with this. This isn't ideal. I need to find a better one than that for the bow. You can make that shot. I just didn't. Yeah, nice one, Petter. See you later, dude. Let's try and find a better shot than that. I know another shot that you can do. You can go from here, but it's not ideal because getting back up is a pain in the ass. I'm trying not to get shot at whilst I'm doing this. So from here, I don't think you can reach that with the teleport arrow. Cheers. So, because you can't reach it with the teleport arrow, go here onto this little side. Now, the only problem with that is making that shot. You can, but it's like even I'm having to like throw my body forward and inch forward a little bit just to get the shot off, and a lot of the time it won't have it. So what you can do here is, if you've got the play space, you can airwalk a little bit. Keep that little cheat between you and me, eh? That still didn't work, so we might have to airwalk a little bit more. No, even that's not going. And the problem with this spot is getting up there is a pain in the arse. But look at how much airwalking we're doing. Well, that's not even airwalking, that's just bad geometry. When you're trying to teleport up onto things, especially on Paradise Lost, I've found that if you hit those little arches, a lot of the time the arrow will stick into there and it'll count as if you've hit the battlements and teleport you up. So that's a way to get up here, and then you would kill the enemies there, and then you teleport across, and then we go. Easy. Easy-ish. A lot easier with this. So all of this is a lot easier with the crossbow. It's because the routes are, you can take more direct and more straightforward routes. Did I get... I don't remember if I got the Orphan. Yeah, you can make that shot. It's just a twat. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. And if you've alerted enemies and they're coming for you, the last thing you want to be doing is, you know, being caught trying to get teleport arrows to land, and then something teleports in your face. Because that's, you know, that's not just, oh shit, I made a mistake, I've lost a bit of life, or whatnot. That's like, no, start again. Fuck off. No, thank you. So the routes that I take in the Abyss are done purposefully. And the reason being is to check for orphans. I wasn't intending on doing this. I'm exaggerating this one. I would normally go here. That's not a great place to teleport and go across that way. And then we go down here. We drop here, specifically for the orphan that can teleport. And then, if not, you teleport to that one. These are actually easy kills. They've barely drawn their sword and they're all dead already because slow time. Come down here, kill these two. Go for that shot if you've got time and nothing's like, you know, trying to push your shit in. Otherwise, go for the closer shot. This is where you can die whilst you are rooftop hopping, bottom dwelling, generally just quickly teleporting through the level. Whilst you are waiting for that teleport arrow to land is how you will get killed. So you do two things: slow time, and you can move around in your area whilst you are doing that. What you can't do, and also locomotion, but that isn't quite as effective. What you can't do is shard. If you fire a teleport arrow and then shard, you cancel the teleport arrow. Again, I have done this many times, waiting for my teleport arrow, and then I shard out the way or something, and then I'm fighting for my life, waiting for the teleport arrow to land, and it never lands because I've cancelled it, because that's how shards work. So it shouldn't do that, but it does. Anyway, I digress. Where's the fucking orphan? Should probably be over here, and then we go along here. Like, that's too long a shot because there's guys getting ready to shoot me. But I'm slow timing all the way on that, so I could still dodge out of the way by moving around in my play space if needs be. And note how I'm taking the most direct route here as well. And whilst I'm waiting for my teleport arrow to land, don't be afraid of taking some shots, because it's all scoring. For some reason, the orphan's not here. Now, that is a purposeful mistake. I definitely didn't hear her. She will be there. She just won't have spawned yet because there'll be two enemies and wherever she spawned, which makes going back and getting her a dangerous proposition. One of the things, and this is my kind of golden rule, and you kind of should do it with Fletcher as well, if you are doing the Orphan Annihilation technique. With Orphan Annihilation, there's reasons to go back. Pits are worth doing because you get life from them. Some enemies are easy to kill. You're not going to die in one fucking hit is the big one. With Mortal, treat the level like a firework that's been lit. Never fucking go back. If you've missed the Orphan because you forgot, or you didn't hear it, or you thought she'd be in this end cathedral and she's not, fucking go, because going back will get you killed. Because then all of a sudden, especially on Abyss, you are first and foremost doing a route that you are not familiar with, because I never do any of these backwards, I only do them forwards. Secondly, doing them backwards puts enemies in some fucking weird positions, and they might still be alerted from when you've skipped past them. And then they will, you know, fucking take your lunch money. Guaranteed. So that wasn't particularly a successful run. That wasn't a particularly successful cycle, that one. Because we only actually got one Orphan. I could have done the pits. What I find is I wait until I get to very high cycles. If you just want to get a handful of points so you can put a decent scoreboard on the board, again, just do the Abyss pits because they're pretty fucking easy. And if you're up to it, do the Purgatory pits, but that's where you'll die on Mortal because slow time or not, ghosts are fucking hard. What I do, or the technique that I do, is when I get up to those really, really, really high cycles, that's when I start doing all the pits. Because what you may or may not know is in the pits, not only is the marksmanship bonus double and a halved, and not only is the Orphan double and a halved, but gold is double and a halved. Everything is double and a halved in the pits, with the exception of the Executioner bonus, which is why the Executioner bonus is another level of shit in comparison to the Marksman. And I hate saying that because the Executioner bonus, i.e. killing an enemy, starts a 10-second timer. Every enemy you kill thereafter, you get 1 second added to that timer. Keep that timer going and it caps out at 20 kills, but then you keep on getting score from the 20th kill and onward. It's not worth very much. It tops out at about 350 extra points per kill, and you're having to put a lot of effort in. Slow time is your friend when you are going for the Executioner bonus, but it doesn't double and a half. If it did double and a half, I would make a point of trying to do the pits in Mortal quite quickly, but it doesn't, so I'll do them nice and slowly. To be fair, I'll probably do them nice and slowly anyway. Right, that's Mortal covered. So hopefully, you know, we've only got like 67,000, but I know people that won't even be able to make it out the first fucking section of Mortal with bow or crossbow. Let's try and get an idea of... So imagine we got a couple more Orphans on that. I could go and get some more Orphans now. There you go. Weebs probably didn't do that technique. If you can kill... I don't know, what's that? 10 Orphans? And of those 10 Orphans, 3 of them would be in the pit in Abyss. You'd beat Weeb's score, and that would probably put you in the top 100. It does... The one thing that I would say is it does not work. It does not work as well in Mortal. Thank you, Von. You reminded me to change my battery. The Orphan Annihilation technique does not work as well as it does in Fletcher, because in Fletcher you're not going to die from a single fucking hit, so it doesn't really matter. And, you know, just to... But the one thing that I will say is it's twofold or threefold or even potentially fourfold. If you can get the techniques down here, they will help you in your main game for when you are on Death's Door and need to fucking get to that shop to check if there's any Blood to the Lambs there, or any quivers, or I don't know, you've just replaced fucking Hand of God with Unholy Wind, because that happens in this game a lot easier than you'd fucking think. And, you know, if you know routes and you are confident with them, you can then get anywhere you like at any time that you like without having to worry about enemies. Until I started doing Mortal, there was times even I was like, oh, fucking hell, I'm going to have to rooftop hop through Paradise Lost, I don't know, cycle 15. I'm probably going to take a hit here and lose one of my unholy armors. Now it's like, oh, I might get the Orphan on the way as well. That's the difference. It will also give you, and just to prove I wasn't lying, if he's... Oh, come on now. Hey, good, I died to a knight. Single hit, dead in Mortal mode. Always go to quit as well, because you want to see your scores. You can learn from how your score goes. It does. It can help with tournament. But yeah, having... No, none of them do. None of them work on a mortal run. You die... And hello, Nicole. You die from a single hit. Enemies die from a single hit. No bosses, no shops, no items, no achievement progress. So basically, every single one of these, I've only got that on because I had it on from Fletcher. It's one of the things that I do like about the sigils is it changes the order of march up on here. Like, for instance, with Fletcher, resistance privilege is okay. Unusual fortitude is a much better shout. Anakim's flaw there is an argument for, because you're not necessarily going to be taking Anakim down with Winter's Bite, but you are going to be doing a fair old amount of damage to him with that. So these are the only two in contention for Fletcher. As far as Purist is concerned, you would go with Unusual Fortitude for that extra life, or better is Resistance Privilege, because armor, if you can get to cycle 5, then, and you can keep the armor. So if you can get to cycle 5 plus without getting hit, Resistance Privilege is actually better because armor protects you from multiple hits, whereas Unusual Fortitude only adds additional health. Spiritual Assist is pretty fucking useless anyway. The only one that would actually help you in Mortal, that would get you any sort of real benefit, is Wealth Privilege, because it gives you 1,500 gold, which basically converts to 1,500 gold, which is the equivalent of about 5 headshots. So, you know, it would help, but it's fucking useless. Anyway, so, yeah. And then, obviously, you know, I think I've made my case for the Blessed Quiver. So, we've covered Mortal. Need to get this ended, really. Yeah, come on then. I'm 300,000 points behind Fish. I can't remember. I'm 300,000 points behind Fish on Purist, and I have been rushing to put this score together. I'll show you how you know that I've been rushing. Because we've only got 1 life left. This does actually allow me to show off an interesting bug, you could call it. You could call it a lie also. So I don't know how well that'll show up on your screens at home. There we go. Well, that should be okay, I think. I'll try and give it some contrast. There you go. So note how one of these is empty. The other ones are a dark orange. And then this one is an orange. If you ever think that you have been cheated of life when you come into the game, oh, the health bar said I was at 11, but then I took a hit and died. Well, that is what would happen to me. I think the reason why this was done is because it doesn't show, like, how many life you lost the last time you played. I think the reason why this is done is to fill this bar with something, because the trigger condition for the heartbeat is that the bar is empty to a certain point, because there's 2 triggers for the heartbeat, 2 life left for for the slower heartbeat, and then 1 life left for the slightly faster heartbeat. So that's my theory. It was not an elegant way, and potentially quite a confusing way. If these had been like blue, then that would have been like, you know, easy to notice, but then people would have been asking what the blues are for. I think it was a solution to the problem of how do we make it so that players can turn the heartbeat off. And the reason being is because if you have the heartbeat on, like I'm one-hit death. Can you imagine if I had to play the rest of this stream with that fast heartbeat in the background? It hasn't been done for streamers. It's done for people that, you know, don't want to put up with that song. Yes, I know I'm at 1 life. I know I'm going to die on the next hit. So for those of you who don't know, if the heartbeat is bumping and you want to turn it off, there is no option to do it. That would have been the simple option. You literally save and quit the game, or now rest in sanctuary, and it will turn the heartbeat off. As soon as you take a hit that would trigger the heartbeat condition or gain life, so if I gained 1 life now, it would go back on again. But that is not the case. Right, so there you go. So now you, as you know now, you can turn these things off. Now, I'm not being very careful here because I'm planning on getting this run ended. I was trying to do this the last live stream. So, but you'll, I suppose you'll get to see how I play Purist. I'm going to play it a little bit loosey-goosey than usual. But yeah, one hit and we're dead here. So, better be careful, eh? As he goes marching in. And we run. We've alerted a load of stuff. Tell you what, me playing my scoring crossbow, my scoring bow run is not good. So, for those of you who don't know how Purist works, I have no slow time and also no special arrows. Now, some would say that I find this mode boring because I don't have my crutches. And depending on what day you ask me, I might say that you are right. But the thing is, going in slow motion is cool. There is a whole genre of films dedicated to it. Yeah, like your fucking John Woos and your fucking Matrix and all sorts of other shit. Hey! And that's why you always take care of the skulls. I was not being very careful then. As I said, I wanted to end it there anyway. So there you go. That's a Purist run over, and we'll see how we did in the leaderboard. So you'll see that the vast majority of my points came from the marksmanship bonus, because you should be pushing for headshots, not necessarily long-range ones either. I also got a decent amount of score from Salvation to the Orphans, which is just killing orphans. I got a decent amount of points from Pit Dweller. And as I said, I mean, I actually got a okay score, I guess, on Executioner bonus for Cycle 4. I did do a little bit of cycle skipping, if memory serves. But Executioner is where you will lose life, and that's kind of what I was doing. Not in the pits, just in the levels. Just to quicken things up, because we are getting to end of season. I don't know if anybody knew or not. So, but yeah, there you go. So that's the Purist run done on the crossbow. And we are at a nice 6th, just below Mr. Fish, because he can have 5th. I don't really care. And the reason why I don't care is quite important. Now, I don't think I have the patience, or possibly even the level of skill, to get 7.5 million without slow time. Probably not even 5 million either. But the fact of the matter is, I could spend a long time trying to get there, or actually getting there, and it would be a difference of maybe, at this stage of the game, 10, 20, maybe 30 legend points, or maybe 50 legend points. And when we're talking about me getting level ups in the fucking tens of thousands, it doesn't fucking matter. I would much rather save myself a lot of time trying to get any higher. Basically, it's diminishing returns, if we know what that means. I could put a lot of effort in for fuck all back. Kind of like going to Desolation, as is at the moment. So, what's next? I hear you cry. So, we'll just have a review, and then we'll go and do some Siege. So, standard, bow and crossbow are 2 separate leaderboards. You will get legend points for each. And you'll get the mainstay of your legend points from these main runs. So, like, for instance, previous seasons, because that's all I can go off of, they don't announce or show the legend points. Mops will, I think, if it goes based on, I can only go on based on last season. If they've increased it, well, I'll look a fool, won't I? But Mops should get 2,000 legend points for there. And then, like, for instance, Old Man with a Bow and Dante Hunter, they'll get about 1,950. And then, you know, Mithrandir and Knights Who Say Me, that is somebody I know. And then people down below them, down to about 50, will get between 1,900 and, say, 1,850. And then from 50 to 100, it'll be between like 1,850 and 1,800, and so on and so forth. So you don't even have to try hard like I'm doing to get in these top 10s to get a reasonable amount. Separate leaderboards for bow and crossbow means that you need to really try and put a run in with both. And for those, like Mr. Popo was saying earlier, I'm not picking up that contraption, I can't play well with it, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do the other. I'm not asking you to do well with it, I'm asking you to go out there, shoot one enemy in the head and die. That's all you need to do, because that'll register, I mean, you don't even need to shoot it in the head, but that'll register a score. If you can put a little bit more effort in there, then you might get a slightly higher score. But just putting a score on the leaderboard is enough to get legend points out of it. If you do not put a finishing score on the leaderboard, then guess how many legend points you'll get? It'll be... I can do it. It'll be that many. That's either some kind of sexual reference or a 0. I think it's a 0. Yeah, it's a 0. So... we then also have the same state of play for the bow and the crossbow on every single sigil. Now, the sigils you do not get as many points for as you do the main game. It does actually say here as well, if you press the information, your score on the 3 main leaderboards, main mode, bow, crossbow, and total Siege of Heaven, contribute the most to the final legend point score at the end of each season. So, and note as well, it says total Siege of Heaven, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. So, standard bow, standard crossbow, and total Siege of Heaven are the big boys. If memory serves, and as I said, it often doesn't, if it's 2,000 points for finishing top of, and I should hopefully be able to show it off live, because I'll get a first this season, in a season where we get more. Or should do anyway, because I can increase that score if I wanted to. We'll see what Laurent does on the last day, and then I'll beat it. So, but I've got work to do here. And he hasn't got time either, which is fun. So, we will get in... so, for that, I believe I will get 1,000 legend points. So, that is half what I would get for my standard run if I was to manage to get first. But as you can appreciate... this sort of score, which, again, I don't even know if I could achieve it, because the game's got substantially harder from when I was first doing my runs, in that you can take fatal health damage from one hit when you get to about cycle 15. Now, if I'm playing properly and not chatting with you lot, I should be able to not get hit with the combination of rooftop hopping and, you know, being careful and using slow time and so on. But even then, Zumi's going to be on about cycle 30. I can get there on Mortal where everything's one hit, but don't know about the main game. But then this is the thing, is to even attempt that, Zumi's probably put 200 hours in to get that score. Maybe more than that. 200 hours would allow me to get a decent score on bow and crossbow on Purist, Mortal, and Fletcher. And probably start a pretty good standard run on either bow or crossbow. It's a lot of time for something that is going to be marginal benefits. So again, this is why I say try and spread yourself like little butter over too much toast. Thinly. Right, let's go into Siege of Heaven, and I will attempt to demonstrate some things there. And yeah, as you said, Ken, I bet it is an absolute fucking nightmare with the with the B haptics. It's something that I would like to try, but the only problem for me with B haptics is it's just one more thing to put on. And I'm lazy that I don't want to even have to fucking turn the PC on to play a VR game and hook it all up and do all the things. It's bad enough that I got to press buttons on the computer to stream, but, you know, that's a needs must. So, it's just that I don't like that computers go wrong. Here you are, Weebs. Weebs still has a fucking... Look at this. I don't play on easy on Siege. So, first thing to note, there are quite a lot of leaderboards on each and every single map. So that is the first important part. If you also pay attention to the information, some of these actually say that you... Bigger combo cat's better than a few smaller ones. Huh, interesting. So it's actually going off the combo number. Interesting. I always used to think it went off of the combo score. Okay, got you. So it's total combos across the map. That was worthwhile having a look at. Some of these are worded okay, but some of them are still quite ambiguous. Like, for instance, that was previously a lie, and I think it still is. 1 multi-kill 5 enemies does not equal 5. I've always given the advice if you want to do small multi-kills to be able to get the top scots. I might be able to prove that tonight because I haven't done any multi... or gone for a multi-kill. Like, you know, I've definitely killed more than 64 enemies that have been part of a multi-kill. I must have to be able to get a score in the millions, so... But apparently not. So... First things first, then, to say is... Yeah, I know, but... But you got to remember to charge it as well, Ken. That's another problem. That's another plug socket. That's another task that I can forget to do. These are all problems. These are all problems of mine. So, But yeah, no, I get it. And if it added enough to the game... then maybe I do. But then this is the problem, isn't it, Ken? Oh, this is me getting weird again. Vaughn was right. This is the problem, isn't it, Ken? Because the haptic feedback vests don't come with the groinal attachment yet, do they? So, you know, and until that groinal attachment comes out, I might probably just leave it. So, anyway. So, as we've seen from what was going on previously, the total Siege of Heaven leaderboard is the one where we get the mainstay of the points from. And again, if memory serves, and it is the same as last season, RB Avenue here, and he deserves every point of them, will get 2,000 legend points for finishing first. And then Enzo, if he doesn't, because he's very close, Enzo, if he doesn't pip him on the last minute, will get like 1,990, and then like Fish will get 1,960, I'll get 1,950, and, you know, so on. And it works the same as the main. The reason why this mode is worth coming in and having a look at, even if you're not very good at it, is you can train yourself to play specific leaderboards. So, for instance, note how there is the total leaderboard, and then there is the score leaderboard, i.e. the score that you've got. That's actually quite low, but I haven't had a lot of time for Siege of Heaven this season. Headshots. If you're getting a good score, you're probably going to finish quite decently in the headshots anyway. But again, this can be trained. You forego everything to get more headshots. Time. Now, here's an interesting factor. Note how I'm one of the few people that have actually scored high that's actually in the top 10 or top 3 or top 5 or whatever you want to call it for time. And why is that? Because the big boys, I tell you now, because I used to play at this sort of level, well, nowhere near that sort of level, but I should be able to get in the 4, 5, 6 millions. I've had it before on Saints Approach. I just haven't had the time or luck. This, well, more to do with time. Note how the people that are in the top 10 for this are not in the top 10 for this. And if they have, they've specifically done it. Well, there's 2 there, actually. And they've specifically probably done it. Oh, and there's Koska as well. Because I've told them to do it. Because if you're playing Siege of Heaven correctly, you shouldn't be in the top 10 on this leaderboard because it is slow and methodical, using lots of slow time. To get in the top 10 for this leaderboard, you have to do the exact opposite as to what would be considered good play for Siege. Why is that important? Because a lot of people who play Siege play it correctly and are not playing like fucking idiots like we are, trying to race through as quickly as possible. So my advice would be, you will find that if you come into Saints Approach and play it on normal and just wang arrows at everything as soon as you see it, kill them quickly and then rest in the shop, because only winning runs qualify. Time is paused between waves, so you can rest and shop as long as you want. Time is not counted on easy difficulty. Always read these, because sometimes they have the right wording. So don't play it on easy, just play them all on normal, and it reduces any sort of confusion. Time is paused between waves, so even if you are not the fittest motherfucker going, or like, you know, your technique isn't good enough to keep your arm up for like 15, 20, 30, 40 waves or whatever, and mine probably isn't at the moment because I haven't been playing this for a while, you can do a round quickly and then rest in the shop. And why is all of this important? Because if you want to get into the top 10 on anything, this is the easiest leaderboard to do it on. Getting these top times is fractions of seconds. I ain't fucking about with fractions of seconds, because this does take a bit of effort on my part to get up there. But, like, I'll do one timed run. I finished, like, second, and then I think Panoli and Billy come and, you know, spent the time to get me. These are worth badges if you are chasing badges. I am not chasing badges. I am chasing legend points. Am I going to kill myself for an extra 20 legend points to get that top slot? No. Can I do it? Fucking right I can. I'm not gonna. I'll let them have their glory. I'm happy with that. So, as I said, and I think these will work out, I think these work out at about 500 legend points for the winner on each one. And then it'll be like 490, 480, 470, 460 or 50 or something. And then it'll be 450, 50, 50, 450, all quite a way down. And then 440, 430. And it'll just get longer and longer. So you don't even need to get that high in these leaderboards. So, yeah, you might be right. I can't remember if you get badges. But that, even whether you do or you don't, I suppose it doesn't. I suppose the point still remains the same. Even if you did, I wouldn't push it anyway, because I got plenty of badges. I don't fucking need any more. I'd rather somebody else had them. I thought you did, if I'm honest. So good one. I thought I've never really fucking checked, if I'm honest. So, but yeah. And I've got enough badges now that I wouldn't be able to tell you where I've got them from. So, combo is another separate leaderboard. Multi-kill is a separate leaderboard. Cupid's, distance, gap shot. These are all reasonably... just to clear some things up, I still don't know what the metric is for distance. And because I usually finish quite high in it, but I can't tell you exactly what the metric for distance is. Top 700, and you know what, that'll fucking do. I'll just leave it at that, because high in a lot of the other ones, I don't know what the metric for distance is. If we read the information, it's quite ambiguous. The longer the distance of every killing shot, the bigger this score. Well, I can tell you that I make bigger long range shots than Pianola does. But then there is some sort of hidden metric within this. So he might be, like, I don't know, using Tempests to elite headshot single enemies at extremely long ranges. And for some reason it counts that. But that's not how you score big. I mean, Fisher's done it, so maybe we should ask him. And then this brings me on to something else that I do as well, is, unfortunately, I can't be bothered to push these boards. And I would even argue that probably a Thom doesn't know exactly how this is calculated, how he scored it. Pretty sure Fishnets doesn't as well. Pianola might, because he is always up there. And again, thankfully there are people like this that do tend to keep some... I'm not talking about a Thom on Fish, they probably don't know. But it is good that there are people that keep information to themselves on these things, because if they didn't, then you wouldn't have somebody like me trying to fathom it out and explain it all. So, good news that they do that. Gap shots is fairly a fairly self-explanatory one. Every gap shot counts as 1, a double gap shot counts as 2. Yeah, but yeah, so that's it possibly, but then the thing is, Mr. Popo and Nathom as well, is I've tried some different things and I couldn't work it out. So I was kind of like, it doesn't fucking matter. I'll just do really well on the boards that I can do. I'd love to spend the time to work out how to do it, but the problem is, after just doing my standard runs at the beginning of a season, when I then go to try and work out these things, I don't know what I did there to get that, and then I've already set a baseline for myself. The way for me to work out exactly how distance worked is it to be the first board that I chase when I come onto this, and I never fucking remember. So yeah, memory, that's the issue. Anyway, right, so that's enough of that. Just in case anybody doesn't know, every Cupid killed counts as 1. Cupids are the flying little spawns of Satan that plague Paradise Lost. Have you seen a Cupid? Have you seen a Cupid in Siege of Heaven? If you haven't, it's because you haven't strung 3 headshots together, which is something that I will try and demonstrate later. If you are scoring well in this mode, you will have strung 3 headshots together without missing. And 3 headshots together spawns a Cupid. Kill that Cupid, and that's what this leaderboard is about. This is probably the leaderboard that is possibly unattainable for people that don't put a lot of time into Siege of Heaven and doing a lot of scoring. But if Cupid and scoring, and so I suppose total is out, well, okay, boo-hoo. But that still leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you should be able to get a reasonably good score in. And it gets better. These little leaderboards are for each level. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels. So if you were so inclined, you could go on to each level and then make a decent attempt to get a fast time. As you'll see, I have. I'm 5th here. I was 3rd on the other one. 3rd there. Again, I'm not showing off. I'm just trying to show you. And this is just literally one and dones that I've done on each level. I've jumped on, played through the level as quick as I can, come off, and ended 2nd in the world for time. Only being beaten by Pianola, and this is why this is worth doing. I mean, I know the more attention that I bring to it, the harder it's going to be for people that are watching to finish in this. But like, you know, Enzius, right there. Look at his score. 19 million he's got on Anakim's advance. That's way above. I mean, I can get close to Arby's. I've had 16 million on Anakim's. He got 19 million. I've only got a measly 12 million on Anakim's advance. But on the time leaderboard, I'm 2nd and he's 13th. He's just on the top of the page. So that should tell you it does not matter about level of skill. If you can be fast, skill will help. Technique will help. Familiarity will help. But Enzius is a much better Siege of Heaven player than I am, and I've got 2nd, and it's because I know how to do it, and I can pass that information on to yourself. Anyway, so each and every single board has a time leaderboard on it. I only managed to get 10th there because Siege Royale is quite a difficult one to do. And I can give you a demonstration of how to do time on these boards, which I should, and then what we'll do is we'll have a look at some of the other boards. I'm not going to do a full one though. I don't fancy getting a sweat on today. It is warm, and I've already, again, I am not going to break myself for 10 legend points. What I will do is I'll play a different one that I haven't tried competing on yet, just to see if we can do it, and see if we get the distance one. The one thing that I will say as well, Athom, is if it is based on killing enemies as quickly as you can as soon as you see them, then I should have a much higher score, because that's exactly what I do when I'm doing this. But anyway, For timing, always take your Tempests and try and buy incursions. And I'll show you why in a minute. So, with Siege of Heaven, ring the bell, kill the enemies, move on to the next wave. As simple as that. The more score you get, the more gold you get. The more gold you get, the better arrows you can buy in the shop. And then we move on to the next wave. You don't get attacked directly. So if you are looking for a place to practice your slow time, because you're playing it properly, if you are looking for a place to practice your slow time, this is where I learned to get good at slow time, Siege of Heaven, because you want to be slow timing between every single shot, because then you can keep your combo timer, you can stretch it out, you can keep it going for longer, and you can also analyze and assess the situation. However, to play this for time, you have to do the exact opposite. So if I was playing this properly, which I'll show later on, I would be using the slow time extensively. And what I'm going to do now is this. Hit the bell to put the game into rage, to make the enemies move faster. That's literally what it's for. I'm not worried about score here. And I kill the enemies as quickly as possible. And now we rest. And that's all you got to do, ladies and gents. I'll take the Tempests because they can kill enemies really far away. So I can one-shot them and get them off the board. Incursions are also good as well, but possibly not for why you would think. Do not put your incursions on here. Now, normally that's a good idea, because an incursion there will stop an enemy getting through the gate. If you are going for time, you don't care about the gate. You want to put your incursions in places like that, at the bottom of a stairwell where you know enemies are going to come out. Why? Because they're going to come out and die instantly, and that's one less enemy for you to have to deal with. Even cataclysms have their use when you are going for the time in leaderboards, because they can take out big groups of enemies or a lot of life off of just body shotting enemies quite quickly. The only problem with the cataclysms is that stupid fucking arc, which means that it can make, you know, long shots quite difficult. I mean, the same is true of incursions. But let's see how we get on. So we shoot that straight away, and look, don't have to deal with him. Thank you, incursion. Quicker, quicker, quicker. Note how I am not going for accuracy either. I'm just wanging arrows out. I do believe anybody could do this. You might not get quite as many headshots because I am aiming in the general direction. If you can string combos together whilst you're doing this, that can help, because stringing combos together will get you gold. Getting gold allows you to buy special arrows. Special arrows allow you to take the enemies out quicker. However, in my experience, to get combos going, you have to wait for enemies to get within effective range. Thank you, Vaughn. I'm just going to change it now, actually, just in case, now that you're going. Oh, no, it's good. Cool. Cheers, Vaughn. So, my point is, killing them slowly to combo to get gold. We're not after score here. Score is not an issue. We are after time. We are after speed. You could combo to get some gold, to get these special arrows, but I'm talking of somebody who hasn't gone particularly fast on this level, and I'm 5th. So, and it's all because I'm changing technique. So, we hit the bell and we hit it again to put the game into rage mode. Note how that makes the enemies much faster. The enemies are usually half this speed. One of the other things that it does as well is you'll see it says rage mode, and it's actually doubling our score. Not, again, that we care much about score. Like, that's what I would use Tempests for, because those are really long, hard shots. And if I can take them out straight away, and they also count as gap shots, then happy days. And get him through one of these, that'd be nice. No, missed him. So that's a waste, but I could then do that straight away to take him out, and that ends the round. So that wasn't a good use of Tempests either, don't do that. Hand of Gods are probably the least useful arrow, I would say, in this situation, because you want the enemies getting to you quickly. But there is the possibility that you might get swarmed because you're missing your shots, like I just did then. And some of these waves can have a lot of fucking enemies on them. So having a Hand of God for those later waves isn't a bad shout, because then you can plant that hand of God there, not use your slow time, but still benefit from the effects of slow and kill all those enemies as quickly as fucking possible, you might not be getting as good a score. And as I said, even when I was getting the top score, there's times when I get swarmed. Another thing that you can do as well... Another thing that you can do... No, it's not. Another thing that you can do is you can actually use the life of the gate as your medium to kill things. So I'll kill that guy and I'll kill that guy. Oh, there's 2 down below me, but that doesn't really matter because I know I can heal 2 life every single time I visit the shop. So I'll let those 2 go through the gate. Hopefully kill the Orphan. Kill that one there. Missed that one. That's wasted some time. Kill that one. Happy days. I am down 2 life. But look here. Blood of the Lamb regenerates the portal for +2. And we get that guaranteed every single time. Now, you should try and kill enemies. But again, there are times where there might be a Black Knight coming and you've raged him. And he is moving fucking fast. Right? And so you let him go past and let him enter that because that'll probably be a lot quicker than you putting 6 body shots in him to kill him. Do try, but know when to ignore an enemy, especially when you've got enough life. And as I said, remember and know that you will get life back every single shop. And just in case you were wondering, those cost 1,000 points. Just by raging and killing all of the enemies with body shots, you will always have enough gold to be able to pick that up every single fucking time. So use it. Like, don't do it on purpose. I'm trying to demonstrate. Right, so I'm fucking up on that one. Oh, fuck you, I'm missing that one then. I'm missing that one as well. Try and get one of them. No, fuck the night off. And again, note how I'm not using slow time. And the reason being is because when, and again, this is only theory, but I think I've done it previous seasons. When you use slow time and you can't see the timer, it's affecting things like the time for comboing and like the time for execution. We know that that's true because I can demonstrate that. The one thing that I can't demonstrate, but I'm pretty sure of, and works in tournaments, is when there is an active timer that you can see. Bit different for this, I think, but when there is an active timer that you can see, and I think there is for Siege of Heaven, you just can't see it, if that makes sense. My point is, I think there's a game clock in use when you are on Siege of Heaven for the purpose of time calculation, and I know there is a time clock in use when you are on a tournament because it shows on your fucking hand or on your HUD when you are playing. Whereas when you are doing Executioner or when there's combo, there is definitely no timer in the game. It's something worked out within a mechanic. So it's not a timer as we know it, or it'll work differently. Anyway, my point is don't use fucking slow time. Simple as that. Anyway, so we'll have our 2 life back. And that'll do us. That will do us. We'll go again. Straight onto rage mode. And again, hit them. Doesn't matter if it's a headshot, just hit them. Because you might get a headshot, or you might do a bit of damage to them, and then that's less damage that you have to do when they're closer. Try and aim for heads, but not at the expense of killing them quickly. Fuck. There you go. And that's all you have to do. And you don't even need to fire as quickly as I'm doing. You just have to not use slow time. You do have to be able to complete 15 waves. So this one might be beyond somebody who's never played Siege of Heaven before. But I would argue that it is probably easier to play and survive this than it is to try and score well and survive this, because scoring or trying to score well means that you like stagger enemies and you're leaving them a lot longer, but I suppose you do have the crutch of slow time. Anyway, yeah, just fucking do it. do it timing wise. And let's finish this off. But yeah, I would take those shots, and eventually I would hit those shots, and you get quite a lot of points for them, he says. Like, that's a long shot rage mode. So I'm getting a decent amount of head points for them, and I can hit those as they're going. But I never do very well on the distance leaderboard, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. And you can see that I have done what I'm showing off here, because I'm, like, 5th in timing-wise. So I'm just going to let them all go through the gate. Oh, this would be typical, wouldn't it? Oh, rage. Here we go. Just so you can see what happens. And if anybody's not played Siege of Heaven, this isn't a bad way to start playing it. The Siege of Heaven is about scoring. That's the way that the game is. To begin with, it's worth survival, but as you play the game and get better at it, it becomes about scoring. It's something that me and Arby, and he's a lot higher up in the leaderboards, do disagree with, but, you know, I disagree with him and he can finish higher than I can, so I don't know who's right. I think that this is a survival game first and foremost. The lowest score on... Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we'll do, Kim. You, like, Kim, you can get into the top 10 doing this. Top 20, easy. Easy. Just follow what I've said. Don't use slow time. Rest in the shops if you need to. Kill them quickly. That's all you need to do. And rage. Rage mode. What was I saying before that? I can't remember. It was something about... Oh, yeah. Me and Arby disagree. He thinks that this game is about scoring. That's what this is. Now, I disagree because the game starts off about survival because it's waves and staying alive. And the other thing that I would have said as well, to try and put my argument one step further forward as well, is I believe I believe Siege of Heaven, it might not have originally been put in as an intention to do so, but there have been things implemented in the past that are here to train players. And I think this is put here to train players to use slow time. Never go and explore around here. Usually because it's a bit fucked. I will go and have a look in a second, Kim. Bear with. I was just seeing if there's anything... Like, we used to be able to jump over there. Probably might not be able to get back now if I can. Nope, doesn't let me anymore. Used to be able to jump all over the place in here, and now they've taken these things away. Why you take our toys away? See, but I used to be able to jump over there as well. Ah, well. It's because... I know why it is, because there's, like, nothing up there. Anyway. So, okay, that's all right, we'll have a look. We'll have a review. So there you go. Top 15. Now, I did 660, and I believe that's, let's work it out. Yeah, these scores will be seconds. Now, remember, there is 60 seconds in a minute. So I'm doing that. So it took me 7 minutes. I think that's right. Yeah, 7 minutes. No. Hang on. 60. 10 times 60. 10.5 minutes. That doesn't feel... no, 11 minutes. That doesn't seem right. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it did take me 10.5 minutes then. I don't know. I felt like I was going a lot quicker. But obviously, the later stages you go, the better score you get. But I think these are done in seconds. So 660 seconds would be exactly 11 minutes. You know, 10 times 60 is 600, and then another 60 for the extra minute. So 11 minutes. And then people are... So if you can complete that in 11 minutes, not counting the time that you have in the shop. So basically, if you are able to fire your bow and hit enemies, that's when you need to be going fast. The rest of the time, you rest. Yeah, I suppose it is. So that is, yeah, it's about right. I always look at that and think like, oh, 6 minutes and 60 seconds. But then it can't be that because there isn't 72 seconds in a minute. So it must be seconds. And then, as I said, some of the names that you will see here that are in the, like, high in the leaderboards and high in here, the only reason being is because they watch me. Fish would tell you the same. He wouldn't think to come and try and fucking fly through this. He's never done it in any other season. Bear in mind, he's only just really started playing Siege of Heaven. But he wouldn't have thought to come in here and do this as quick as possible, because he wouldn't know that there's points available here and everything. And this is why it's important that I tell you, because these are like fucking low-hanging fruit. Come and get them. So, like, Kim should be able to get in this sort of ballpark, and she doesn't play a lot of Siege of Heaven. And, you know, she can play, but she's not, like, in the multi-millions level, you know? And that doesn't matter. You can get somewhere. Let's have a look. Look, this means that Beanie doesn't even have the time. But then he'll be quite happy with that. He's put a score in. Happy days. He'll get some legend points. He can keep up with us, just in case he ever gets the time to come back again. He's fallen way far behind now, though. Right, so... what should we have a look at going for now? So, like for instance, here's another one. I was showing people on Anakim's Advance the exact spots. You'll have to go back and have a look at my my streams. But I was showing people the exact spots to get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gap shots. And showed everybody, and then our own Mr. Popo was said to me that last time I was on here, it's like, oh, you probably need to check that gap shot leaderboard. Am I going to chase him for the extra 10 legend points? Fucking hell no. But look how much further that is over Pianola. But he'll probably be thinking the same. It's a lot of fucking work. It is you. It's a lot of fucking work to get up to second and even third. And that's probably because Pianola doesn't watch my streams. But he also doesn't share his techniques, I might add, either. Or I don't think he does anyway. So I know it was me and him that were competing for the top kills when the community event was on. And I made a point of showing everybody off how I was doing it for the simple reason that I wanted those fucking community rewards for me. And then all of you lot. But mainly for me. And then all of you lot. But this is what I mean. If there wasn't people that didn't show it off, and, you know, I'd never joined those ranks. But for me, it's about what's the point of being good at a thing if everybody else doesn't at least have the same information that you have. Then it comes down to skill. There's times when that bites me in the ass when I show Mr. Fish how to do things. Only today he was asking me how I got those points in Mortal when we were playing Dungeons fairly earlier. Do you know what I told him this time? I told him to fuck off until next season, because I'm having first and then he can have it from that point onwards. Anyway, so... not that, again, I don't think he's got time to do it, but I don't know. He might do. Might surprise me. I've got enough competition. I'll show you next season. To be fair, I've shown everybody how to do it already anyway. I just didn't tell him that. Right then. Another... oh, Siege of Heaven one. Yeah, it was... the problem with the last Siege of Heaven tournament that they did is Siege Royale, because of how it works. The big points, as I have shown from all Siege of Heaven stuff, come from big double gap shot headshots with a Tempest arrow, slowing the enemies into groups or hitting the shots at the right time, and them having one of those 4-time circles. For those of you who can score high, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't, go and watch some of my videos where I show scoring technique off. I'm not particularly great at it. I never really was, but I don't know. I don't put the time into it anymore, and advances have been made and scores are getting silly. And again, you know, I could spend 200 hours and I might never catch Arby's. I might not even get half what Arby's got, you know? I could spend 200 hours doing that. 10, 20, 30 legend points? Fuck off. I'm happy with 5th. That'll do. That will do. Right. What are we going to do? So yeah, the problem with the last Siege of Heaven tournament was they put it on Siege Royale. And the problem with Siege Royale is there are, unlike every other map, there are fucking 10, I think, possibly more, spaces where the Cupid's ring, the 4-time scoring ring, can spawn. And unless you get it to spawn in the right place, at the right time, on the right wave, you're not going to be able to score well. And I can probably show that off with the actual scores. Is that all I've got on? Oh, that needs to be corrected. I can do better. Well, I might not be able to do better than that. Let's have a look at the top 10. And there, if that doesn't paint the picture for you, ladies and gents, I don't know what is. RB Avenue had an amazing run. Up from the Depths, again, probably had an amazing run. There'll have still been things that went wrong with it. Enzus had an amazing run. Even Fish has got a good run there. I think my top score's probably in that sort of region, maybe even a little bit lower. I do know techniques to get at least 1 million. It's been a while since I've played them. I'll maybe try and show them off. But, like, Athom is a very good player at Siege of Heaven, but he just hasn't put enough runs in and hasn't got the luck to get what you need. The good thing and bad thing with Siege of Heaven, all the rest of the other levels, what I can show you is quite easily replicated if you can play. The problem with Siege Royale is there's a fuck ton of RNG on it, and that's why I think the last Siege of Heaven didn't do very well. It was like the top 5, and I think I was one of them, were in the 4 millions. Everyone else was on 1 million. And it's these gaps that you can tell that something RNG-wise, because then you've got the people who are trying a lot to get those higher scores, and then the people that are just like me, oh, that'll do. So, should we try and get our score up on that? I mean, I'm all right with 90th. I'd rather chase some other leaderboards that I could do. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Like, I'm in the top 200 for distance on Siege Royale and Siege Royale, and I'm doing, and yeah, haven't gone specifically for distance. I've just gone for time. Hello, Mel. No, you're all right, mate. How are we doing on Cupids? How are we doing on Cupids? Let's have a look. We are... I haven't got a great score, so this might be worth doing. Oh, God, have I not even... That can't be right. Are you telling me that I've got that score and didn't kill a single fucking Cupid? Actually, I know why. I know why. The only time I've tried Siege Royale this season is for time. That's why. I haven't done anything else on it. But I got 10th. Happy days. Maybe we should do some Siege Royale then. This is a hard one, and I should have prepped and watched my own videos before I do this, but I'll try and remember. Right. There might be a lot of stopping and restarting here to make sure that I get the start that Athom was talking about, because there is a way to get a reasonably, I'm not going to say easy, a few things have to come together, but there is a way to get 1 million points on Wave 5. I need all the Cupids. But yeah, so the last time that I played this, I would have been rushing through this. So I will attempt to play Siege of Heaven properly. One of the things that I will... not Siege of Heaven, Siege Royale, this level. One of the things that I will say about Siege Royale is it's a fucking beautiful looking level, first and foremost. It was like it was the best one before the Quest 3 update. Now they've, you know, the Siege of Heaven stuff has kind of been forgotten about, I guess. But this platform and the way that this works, I think this should have been a separate mode, and it should have been roguelike, in that you've just got increasing waves coming at you, and you power up as an archer with your money instead of what we have. I did put that to Super Bright as well, and they were basically like, nah, what do you know? So I would love, like, this. Don't call it Siege of Heaven, call it something else. You know, would have been great. Anyway, right, so we will take this one nice and slow. Another thing that I will note here as well, if I say life begins at 100, life begins at 40, IDU, the game of IDU begins at a 100%. That is true of the main game. It is fucking essential if you want to score well in this. Every achievement that you are missing after you've got ones that do things specifically, like unlock shop, increase portal durability, every 3 consecutive headshots kills spawns a Cupid. These are all ones that you must unlock. to be able to get them, to be able to get the abilities. After you've got all of the important ones, every other one is just starting gold plus 500, starting gold plus 500, starting gold plus 500, starting gold plus 500. And the reason why that's important is I could kill nothing and get the first 3 pack of arrows at the very start of the game, just based on the fact that I've 100%ed it. And that is important, very important, because you do not want to be shy a couple of gold, because you need to spend, you need to speculate to accumulate on Siege. There are some that are difficult, I'll give them that. I did start but never finished the 0 to 100%, which I did have intention. Some of the Siege Royale ones are very difficult. But yeah, the way to play... So I'm going to attempt to play Siege of Heaven correctly now. And it's about headshots. Bah. Not missing. And you'll hear that sound in the background. That is to let me know that I am in combo. And not only do I have to not miss shots to stay within combo, but I also have to take those shots and hit before the music dies down. And I can extend that timer by using slow time. And so this is why I say, if you want to come and practice your slow time, you need to do it on Siege of Heaven. It's part of the course for scoring. And, well, I'm up on a pedestal. They can't get me. They're not going to run in and smack me in the face. I'm safe up here. I mean, as I said, some of the girls have said, like, you know, this brings out my vertigo. So that's fine. Go and learn on a different Siege of Heaven map. But it will also improve your accuracy slightly over distance. And you'll also, hopefully, notice as well, we'll take those Tempests because we always need Tempests for scoring. You'll also hopefully note as well that I am trying to not shoot anything further away than, like, where I'm drawing with my finger now. I'm not shooting arrows to show you because then I'll lose my perfect bonus, because that's another thing that you get as well. I will... No, that's not a good shot, is it? That's a waste of arrows. What the double gap shot that's worth going... that's worth taking. The double gap shot on this level is there. If I can get a kill like that before I take it, it increases the amount of points that you get. Do I take that as well? I can't... I don't think that's good for points, but we need to keep... We do want to be getting Cupids, as it happens. And hear that crescendo music? Now, it is better for me to... Fuck! As he says it. It is better for me to not miss a shot than to keep the combo going. But... never mind. Well, the thing is that I used to find the same as well when I bounced between the main game and here, and then heaven forbid I went and played the crossbow, and then went back to Siege, and then back onto the bow, and I still find it. And it's why in a season what I try and do is I try and get all of my bow runs out of the way and Siege of Heaven out of the way, then I go on to the crossbow. In previous seasons I used to do that. I've been playing long enough now that I can kind of flip between all the different disciplines within a couple of minutes. It doesn't usually take me long to warm up, if at all. And between you and me, chat, if I do say I'm like warming up because I haven't played it for ages, it's just fucking excuses. Because we come pre-made with excuses. Pre-loaded with excuses on this channel. And so... But I used to find that when I first started in my first couple of seasons, is it used to sometimes fucking ruin me on one discipline, changing to another. It would take me ages to get into the new discipline and fucking wreck me on the old discipline for fucking weeks. And then the weeks, sometimes even like a month. And then the month became weeks, and then the weeks became a week, and then the weeks became days, and then it became hours, or a good few hours, and then it got down to an hour, and then minutes, and now I can pretty much switch on the fly. So I can tell you that the more you do of all of these things, the easier you will find it to switch between them. But it's still something to try and avoid. Try and get your stuff done in batches. So then, like K2 says, you don't look at things and think like, fuck me, that's going to take me 20 hours to get back into. Because that's daunting. Very daunting. So yeah, by me being very nonchalant about those shots that I took there, what a perfect wave does is it doubles your score. So if you can do well in a wave, I need to get the kill, but I need the headshot. Fucker. Don't even try and headshot bats. I think it's a waste of time, if I'm honest. Fuck. Right, we want to be going for score here, but getting a good score is Cupid. So look, for instance, I killed a Cupid and there's a 4 times over there. That 4 times is fucking useless. And even if it was the right 4 times, it's fucking useless to us in this wave right now, because the wave's fucking over. And this is the problem with Siege. Again, we did say to Super Bright, look, the way to correct this is, yeah, okay, have all of those 4 times be able to show up, but have it so that specific waves, only 4 of them that would be useful to you can show up, or 5, like the other levels. Deaf ears. Anyway. Right, we've got some Hand of Gods. We could do with more Tempests. There is another arrow that we're missing here that we kind of need before we go into wave 5 for me to be able to show it off. And that is Incursion. Or at least I think it's Incursion anyway. The other thing to note as well with when you're taking your bingo shots, and the bingo shots are those Tempests that I took there, where it is a high scoring arrow, i.e. Tempest, going through multiple objects and then hitting headshots. That's how you get the big scores on all of the levels. And not all of them have them, but most of them either have at least a long shot gap shot, if not a double long shot gap shot, or in this circumstance, just a double gap shot. They add serious multipliers onto your score. If you can do them within combo, so any length of combo, it doubles for the first part of the combo. So the important thing to do, and I'm not risking a shot with that, missing a shot with that. Oh, Cataclysm, fuck off. Like, look at that. That's fucking useless. I don't even think any enemies even step into that. It's fucking bollocks. I think they actually cut the corner and go down. We'll watch. Yeah, fucking brilliant, brilliant placement, Super Bright. Look at him. He spent about half a second, and that's only because of slow time in that circle. Now, those ones have spent a little bit more, but look how useless a placement that is. Fucking shit. I mean, you could say, oh, well, you just have to have good timing and be precise. That barely any enemies come down the back here as well. Very rarely. So why even put a 4 times there at all? Fuck. Right. These are the ones that we headshot. And that's what I'm going for, is headshots on Cupids. This is a much more advanced stage of Siege of Heaven. You know when you're getting there on Siege of Heaven because you can start getting headshots on Cupids. It's a little... well, it's not much easier than it looks. It's one of the few things that I don't rant and rave about because it's quite difficult to recreate, let me tell you. But I can tell you a place to go and practice it, and that is Anakim's Advance. Because if you can 3 headshot abominations and they'd be right in front of you, the Cupid can spend an awful lot of time quite close, traveling from left to right. So you can start gauging the sort of shot that you need to make to get a headshot on a Cupid. The way that I do it is I do a combination of tracking and ambush fire, with a slight technical term. So I track to a certain point, I then move my bow ahead of and fire at the same time. And that is a reliable enough technique where if the orphans are, if the Cupids are behaving, I can hit headshots I'd say reasonably well. We'll see what we make of that by the end of this stream. So, I need an incursion here. This is where you can make a lot of points on this wave and this wave alone. And it is all in the setup. I have done a video on this, how to score 1,000,000 points on Siege of Heaven. Again, I actually did this whilst the competition's on. You know, it's like I try and sabotage myself sometimes. But to be fair, I wouldn't do that if there was like a decent prize up for grabs. Like, I don't know, a Quest 3 headset again, or like hundreds of pounds worth of credit that I can spend on all you lot, or even game keys. But what was the prize for Siege of Heaven tournament that time? Fucking roll on Discord. And I haven't even got it yet, and it's like 2 years on. I don't even think Mike got his, and I definitely know that Jarek didn't get his because he fucking won it. No special mention on Discord. Cheers, Super Bright. And to be fair, that's how much we care about these things. We didn't even fucking ask. So, anyway, the setup here is we want to drop and again, go and watch the video because it's probably, you know, I've forgotten probably more than that video actually says in the time that it's taken me to do it and then come back to it. We want to drop an incursion around about here, and that's so we don't actually have to take the shot to kill the enemies. But that's what we want to do. Remember, if I take this big bingo shot, which is going to be up here, without being in combo, it will be worth half what it would be if I at least get a kill before I take that bingo shot. And that is true of any of these bingo shots. Now, the reason why I'm firing arrows, I've only got one incursion, so I want to try and get this right. The headshots are pain in the ass. That was bad. That's not going to work. Right, okay, that's not going to work. Oh, well, never mind. Let's try it anyway. So I'm going to have to try and make this shot, because all of the points here come from the Screamer headshot, which you'll see in a minute. The Knight headshots up there, not missing. Yeah, actually, the reason why the head is very difficult, and again, is very RNG, is because of the arms. Because the arms come up and down, his shoulder comes up and down, and unless you get the shot picture perfect right and timed right, it hits his arm before his head, and that's why it doesn't hit a headshot. Even though it looks like he's hitting the head, it's his arm's in the way. The same way that a Tempest is not effective against a Banshee, because it hits the fucking bitch's staff before it hits in the head or whatever. Anyway, so we need... Now, this is where you can use that guide technique that I failed with here, because Hand of Gods move at the same rate as... where do I put it? Was it there? No, that's a risky shot. Let's go safe. Actually, no, let's go risky. I've got a couple. So I want to put my Hand of God shot about there. So I'll fire some normal arrows, and then when I'm ready, I'll switch... Ooh, that's the wrong arrow. I'll switch to a Hand of God, and providing that hits, soon as it hits, I start, and into slow motion. And now let's see what we can do. Now, the other thing that I want to do as well, to add even more points onto this technique, is I would like to rage. But I'm going to let that guy get a little bit further forward first. Now I'm going to rage. That will make these worth double. And then some. So that's some points there. Not much, but it gets the combo going. Where's that Knight? There he is. And then we want one there. And then I'm waiting for the Screamer. Good. That's good. We wait for the Screamer. He should catch up the... Did we get him? Oh, we got him. Good job, chat. We got him. Oh, I think I got him. No, I don't think I got him. Don't miss, though. Don't miss. We'll still get some alright points, but as I said, getting the headshot on the Screamer is actually quite difficult. I'm also very much out of practice. Excuses. Again, we want to try and stay in combo, but not at the expense of missing... You fuckers. Missing a shot. Woo! That was a great shot. I thought I'd missed that then. Fuck! So the reason why I said the F word there, I did it again, is whatever I just scored for that wave, and bear in mind we were on about... probably about 60,000? So I probably scored about 300,000 for that wave alone. If I hadn't missed that first shot and then couldn't give a fuck and missed the second, we would have got about 600,000 because it would have doubled what we got. Bear in mind, I've only got 270,000 as a score on this level, so that would have been nice. But so again, this is why I don't play a lot of Siege of Heaven on the channel, because I don't know, I think it's fucking boring. You watching me, guys, starting again, because that's what I should do. What I should do now is go, oh shit, restart run, because I've also used a lot of my resources, i.e. my tempests, probably gone overboard there, and I didn't get many in the first place. Excuses. So what I would normally do in that circumstance would reset, and again, as I said, this is why I don't do a lot of Siege of Heaven, because if I'm playing it properly, there's a lot of resetting doing, and then because I'm streaming it, I want to try and entertain, so I would then keep a run going that I shouldn't, and then, yeah, this is how fatigue fits in to the equation as well with Siege of Heaven. But I can go all night on Siege, so it's all good. The fatigue isn't really a problem. I don't know, I just don't find it entertaining, me restarting. So, but I think we'll get this. What are we on, wave 6? Yeah, I'll get a score put down for this. I'm not going to concentrate as much on the score though. I'm going to try and concentrate on headshots and Cupid kills. I mean, that should score reasonably well. But I'm not going to worry too much if I, you know, it's nice to get the perfects, but when playing Siege of Heaven and when you're building up the accuracy and trying to hit those headshots and trying to get into the swing of the things, especially on this level, you have a pass from me on Skeleton Warriors. Those fuckers have small heads and they're bastard in fast. Oh, you fucker. They are really, really fast. If you have to forego a skeleton to keep your combo going and just hit him in the body, you do it. So, one of the things to note, that was terrible, and let them get close to make your shot easier, is a little bit riskier with Siege of Heaven, because they're coming directly at, with the Siege Royale, because they're always coming directly at you. The advice that I would give for this would be the same as any of the Siege of Heaven side of things, but let them get close. But then the problem is they get too close and they slip through, and it's not so much that you take damage. For one thing that I will say for any budding Siege of, that was a headshot, Siege of Heaven enthusiasts out there, and the thing that's good about that headshot is it counts towards the next 3, so we'll get another one there and then that one there, so that's an extra Cupid, kinda, which is nice. Fuck. Damn. Headshot. If you get a perfect on a level, i.e. you don't miss a shot, but an enemy damages you by going through the gate, that will break your perfect. It won't break your combo, but you do have to not miss an arrow and not take damage to get a perfect. So, we are going to need that. Those aren't so useful. So, yeah. Hand of Gods, if you... Again, this is, as Kim was saying as well, and it's different from me, but I need to put even more time into these because I need to kind of like re-remember how the waves work, and sometimes they change as well. There's like a lot more Black Knights in the later waves of Anakims as of last season. There weren't that many and that soon last season. Or maybe I'm misremembering. That is possible. And knowing which wave what things do, but then there is also an element of RNG because on a particular wave there can be varying numbers of enemies from a certain amount of points, and they can come at you in different ways. So sometimes a wave might be easy and have good scoring opportunities, and other times not so much. that RNG element seems to be even worse on this. Yeah, no, that is a good point. Yeah, hitting a shield. But then that's the thing that, like, it is annoying, but that for me is at least, you know, that's acceptable because, you know, you haven't actually hit and damaged anything. But then, funnily enough, for those of you who are wondering, if you hit a shield with a Fletcher arrow in Fletcher, with any arrow in Fletcher, well, that doesn't count as a miss. Bloody super bright and the fucking double standards. Looking after us Fletcher players, but not us Siege players. Bastards. Like, that's an easy, not easy, but easy-er headshot opportunity because the Cupid was coming quite directly at us, and then when it stops coming directly at us, it goes left to right. So that one's not too bad. The headshot opportunities for Orphans are kind of here on this level, not as good as Anakim's Advanced, but better than others. So this isn't a bad one to practice on. But then here's another thing with RNG as well. You could go through the level, and I think somebody worked out that you will be offered a certain amount of every arrow in each run with a small variation. I think that was Elite Jonathan that worked all of that out. But, or it might have even been for the right, I don't know. The only thing that I can tell you is when you need fucking Tempests to get that shot, you ain't getting any in the shop, guaranteed. When you have the money for them and you need them, you're definitely not getting them. If you haven't got the money and you do need them, they will fucking come in abundance. This is what all Siege of Heaven players know. It is truth, as much as I can make it. So, the one so again, the headshots on Cupids separates, I'm not going to say the phrase men from the boys because I don't want to be the elitist thing, but the reason why being able to hit headshots on Cupids is not the scoring, but because you get an additional special arrow. And even that, for the elite of elite that can do it quite consistently, has an element of RNG, because there is a 25% chance on each of the arrows, as near as I know it. The one thing that I can tell you, if you are a budding or veteran or whatever, is the more of a pack of arrows you buy, regardless of the amount that they have, that will multiply the next box by, I think, a factor of 2 each and every time. So if you buy times 1s and then times 3s later, the times 3 will have cost as much as if you just bought as many times 1s but times 3 variants. So my point here is always try and buy just times 3 variants, maybe times 2s, never times 1s. And the only time you buy times 1s is if it's the final wave or you're fucking in dire straits. But then the thing is, if you're in dire straits, you probably haven't used your arrows correctly, or you're doing really well on score anyway, and so you've been like redlining, you've been on the line, so to speak, at all times. So 6 one, half a dozen the other there. But yeah, be ultra careful. Resource management, as I was saying to Weebs the other day, he can get up to like cycle 6, cycle 7 is where he starts topping out. That's admirable. That's very high. You can get a good score by being able to get up to that cycle. One of the things that Weeble will not be able to appreciate is arrow management. And again, arrow management is something that I learned here. It's a lot more rare in Siege of Heaven than it is when you get to the higher cycles of the main game. But arrow management is a very big thing. Very big thing. What I mean by that as well, here, arrow management is about keeping the arrows that you need to be able to put good scores in. Arrow management in the much higher cycles that I'd probably say like 95% of players. Does that count as a gap? Yeah, it does. Oh, well, we replaced our Tempest for free, so that's not too bad. And you can easily miss those golden bat shots. They are pains in the arse. The problem that you have with arrow management in the main game is it doesn't really come into its own until you get to the very high levels. And I can put it into context for you, because I did with Weeble. Like, for instance, skeleton archers. Everyone hates them. If they don't hate them, they probably don't know that I was talking about skeleton archers. Oh, and that guy that rated skeleton archers on the original in-depth guide game as a C in difficulty scale and gave, I think, Black Knights an A. It's like, what the fuck's he on? Anyway, so other than people that don't understand that I'm talking about skeleton archers and that guy from the original In Death, other than those two, skeleton archers are probably one of the hardest standard enemies in the game. That then means to make a hard enemy easier, using things like Hand of Gods and... Bastard. Yeah, you fucker. Fuck off. Using Hand of Gods and mainly Winter's Bites. You use them in, like, the Pits of Purgatory, and at higher cycles, you might have to use multiple to take them down. And then all of a sudden you don't get any quivers. And then all of a sudden you've completed the level and you haven't got any quiver drops or any Winter's Bites, and you find yourself going into Anakim with a handful of Winter's Bites, very few Hand of Gods, and no volleys, because you haven't done so well out of the level. And all of a sudden your run's over because you can't do Anakim at those stupidly high levels easily anyway, without making any mistakes, without those arrows. That's the reason why we bring them. So then in the later stages of IDU, the later cycles, you learn other ways to deal. We have... Oh, I'll talk about that in a minute. We have got techniques like cornering and stuff like that, but when you could die from a single hit, all of these like techniques that are usually pretty good, any mistakes, you're going back to fucking Sanctuary, mate. When you are doing one of the exceptions that I can give to this whole only buy the 3-packs, because that's more of a not beginner, but sort of like intermediate to advanced. When you start getting to the higher levels of it, if you are doing well on score and you know how to score, it can be worth spending your money on the 2s and possibly even the 1s if you are doing ridiculously well. But again, you will, if you do that, get to this point where even if you are getting the top scores, you won't be able to buy the things that are being offered because they'll be too fucking expensive. Like right now we've got 225,000. If I buy that 2-pack and don't get a decent score, I will not be able to buy the 3 that it will inevitably offer me. We've already got 5 and we haven't got any in behind me, so but that should be enough. I don't usually like buying Bloods of the Lambs unless it's efficient, because I'm not planning on losing life. If you are playing Siege of Heaven, this is cheap to replenish your life. Do it every single time without fail. I'm not. I'll wait till I lose another life before I buy one of them. For me, at my end, 1,000 gold shouldn't make the difference. Thankfully, I've never had a scenario... Oh, no, I have had scenarios where I'm 1,000 off from being able to buy a 3-stack, and that might have given me a top score. So that's part of the reason why I try and be efficient, because those heals give you 2 health back. So you want to use them when it's efficient. I could have gone for a decent gap shot there, but I don't. This is, again, part of the problem is... Yeah, fucking... As K2 was saying, is like, it can take you a while. I mean, you know, I play to a reasonable level on this. It'll take me a while to get back into the swing of things. Not just headshotting and comboing. That's most of the battle. Knowing what waves are the good scoring waves and where the scoring opportunities are. That's the potatoes to the meat, I guess. Neck shots. We need to be getting headshots here because I want Cupids. But hopefully you can see the contrast, which is part of the reason why I'm playing it. This is how you play Siege of Heaven. You don't let those guys through. This is how you play Siege of Heaven normally. Damn it. Damn it. And a lot, just Like, this is how you play Siege of Heaven, but not missing shots. Constant slow time. Constantly slowing the enemies down. Trying to feather out the kills so that you can keep them coming along and along and along. So that you're never in this state of play where you have to make really long shots just to keep your combo going. No. You want to take your shots slowly and at the expense of your combo time to lengthen the time you have to combo. Good headshot. Like, what a great 4 times. I could get a double gap shot headshot on that. That'd be amazing. And then it'd be 4 times that score on top of that as well. But not anymore, because the fucking wave's over now. Too late. And it's not like any enemies came out of there and went past that double gap shot headshot opportunity. And it's a great map, and you can get a good score on it, but it's a massive failing on its part, I must say. The one thing that they did get right, and I have asked them, is if you have arrows, I pick arrows up that I don't need to, and it's a force of habit because they can get in the way of you. They don't get in the way of you on this map, because when the arrows that you have collected from Orphans, Golden Bats, there aren't any Orphans in this level, but Orphans, Golden Bats, and headshots on Cupids stack up behind you, they can make quite a mess. And in this mode, they raise up when you move. Oh, we'll grab that, because that's efficient now. They raise up in this mode, and it's a fantastic UI thing. And I asked them to bring it into all the other levels as well to help us out. Nope. It's a great bit of, quality of life that was for this level. In fact, actually, I said to them, no, I was the part of the reason why they raised it up higher. It was raising slightly for this level so that it wasn't in your eye line, and I said, nah, make it go way higher than that, because we don't want it even in our fucking eyesight. If we need arrows on the fly, we've probably fucked up, but if we desperately need arrows on the fly, we'll happily reach up and get them. I'd rather that than they get anywhere near our way. So, but anyway, I digress. You can have one of those. Yeah, look how high that incursion goes. Used to be lower than that. A body shot on an enemy does not count as a miss, obviously, but it does not count as a kill, and it's kills, obviously. It's kills that keep your combo going. Woo! Oh, player well tonight! Damn. Missed. Fuck. Oh, that was a headshot though. We'll have you. And you. And you. And you. Damn it. Damn. So note how they lower down when we go to the shop phase. And then if I don't take any of them and leave them there, yeah, before I heard the rest of that question, Kim, I was going to answer the first bit. I would need to go back and watch your SOH tourney vid to refresh on when the money shots come. You and me both, Kim. You and me both. Let's just end that question there, shall we? The later ones are just basically whenever you get a double gap shot headshot opportunity there. They occasionally happen back there as well, but not very often. And then there's the one up there on wave 5. And if memory serves, that's about it. That one isn't very good because you don't get a lot of traffic down there. And then on top of that, you need to wait until you get in those... Like, you can take them at any time that you want, but the 4 times gap shot headshots, we know are what you want. And you have to get the Cupids to ping up the right one at the right time, and the problem is you could kill 6 Cupids in a wave and still not get the fucking 4 times that you need, and that's the difference between the big boy scores and the not so big boy scores. Oh, that went through his fucking Swede. Bastard. There's that now. Right, I've missed a shot, so it doesn't matter. Damn it. Damn it. That was a bad shot, Ripley. I'll just wang some arrows at that, save myself a special. Yeah! Well, it's not like I was getting a perfect anyway. But it's okay, we're not here for score. I mean, we're going to get score, but we're here for headshots and Cupids, because I'd like to see if I can get up on those leaderboards. Because previously, I think I was... Well, I wouldn't have been unrated, but I wouldn't have had a very good headshot or Cupid score. What's this tracking? Bastard tracking pro bastards. I suppose it's one of the other things that I didn't get to say to Weebs the other day as well. And it's something that I'm starting to notice here. Fuck off! Something that I'm starting to notice on Siege of Heaven. Don't know if you can tell or not. Is that because the tracking is, and as I said, I'm not arguing, the tracking is better on Quest Pros. It's got fucking cameras that can look up my nose, for Christ's sake. Of course it's better tracking. What a great image that would be if I could only get them to take pictures of up my nose. That I'd pay 300 quid for, but until then, no. And I suppose the problem is, because the tracking is a lot better, when it happens, the tracking issues that it does have, because tracking's not where it should be right now, and it may never be until we got the fucking things being broadcast by chips inside our head. But until the tracking gets to where it needs to be, it's definitely not worse, but there is an element of, I know when I pull an arrow and it's going to go like that, I can see it do that, so I can put the arrow back and try again. Here, when the arrows do that, I felt it a second ago go like that, and I didn't get chance to adjust and accommodate for it. And that's what I've been able to do. So, yeah. So don't get Quest Pros, they're a rip-off. Yeah, I mean, I had no problems with the Quest 3s, if I'm honest, Kim. But do try both frequencies and do try an IR caster. They fucking helped me wonders in my Siege of Heaven game, I must say. I think you've tried the infrared caster. If you haven't, it definitely makes a difference on the Quest 3s. I don't think I've got it on at the moment, but I don't need it for tracking with the Quest Pros. So there's another benefit. I don't think an IR caster would actually have all that much effect on them. At this point, for me on Pros, an IR caster is kind of just now useful for if I ever wanted to play outside. And that is something I'm planning on streaming, so... But I'm going to have to do some testing and make sure my Wi-Fi's up to it, so that I can actually stream at the same time as gaming in my yard. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I'll show what I'm banging on about in just a second when I finish this wave. Well, this is getting busy, isn't it? There you go, have a headshot. Would you like another? For those of you who are at various points within the Siege of Heaven journey, because there might be some of you watching, do be aware that neck shots are part of the game. I guarantee you. Oh, thank you, Kim. I'll check battery in just a moment. Neck shots, shoulder shots are all part of the game. These are these micro adjustments that will happen and you will learn to conquer. It just takes time. You have to put 1,000,000 fucking neck shots in to be able to consistently get those headshots. Bastard! not doing well on this level at all. Near loads of them going in behind me. God, I might die here if I don't start concentrating. Fuck! Jesus. Well, that was a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Fucking hell. God, it's only wave 13 as well. Again, this is kind of... I'm trying to push for headshots. And doing a shit job of it, I might add as well. Right, hand of God. Yep. I probably should... Oh, I should have put these down before I started shooting. Oh, let's face it, I'm not getting a perfect here, am I? What I normally do with my incursions is I put them there because that's the one that I always forget about. And I put enough there to accommodate for all enemies. The enemies can only come here, 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 and here. And then some sneaky fucking bats. There's one group on, I think, the final wave that comes across that one. Several groups come across that one across the waves, and they sometimes come through that as well. And bats have got their own fucking routes to you, and it's one of the things that makes them quite difficult. Right, let's try not to get killed so I can get a score on the board. Need to be getting headshots here as well is the problem. Part of the reason why I didn't want to put incursions down is, although they are like a bit of a safety net for you, they interrupt your combos. And what we're going for here, headshots and Cupids. And to get the Cupids, we need those headies. I cannot afford any more to come through, so we will give it one of them. Shit. Now, some of you at home might be thinking like, hang on a second. That's easy. Why didn't you just use... Like, there's the 4 times that we need, but everything's gone past me. Oh, I'm getting a low battery warning. That was a good time to check the Kim. Alright, so I've hopefully got enough to do this. Bastard. Yeah, see, if I don't get that headshot off quickly, that'll blow up and ruin my combo of headshots. Now that's going to ruin the headshot that I've got, so now I've got to get 3 more headshots to spawn another Cupid, which is very fucking annoying, but that's the game. That's why I don't use incursions, because it spoils my combos. But then having said that, the big boys do use incursions, so... Make of that what you will. Ah, neck. Nothing but neck. Maybe for somebody like you, Kim, the pros might be useful if you're really struggling with the Quest 3s. Do try both frequencies of the tracking, though, as well. Try the 50 Hz and the 60 Hz. Just don't have it on auto. Oh, and what I was talking about as far as infrared casting is concerned, I'll show you. That is my IR caster, and that basically projects a IR wave, or an IR thing, down across my play space, which then helps with tracking. Helps a lot for the Quest 2s and the Quest 3s. I don't think it has a lot of effect on the pros, because I know when it's on and when it's off with the Quest 3s, and definitely with the Quest 2 controllers. I think it's on with the Quest Pros, and then I'll turn my pass-through on and find that it's off. And if you were looking at that through normal vision, it looks like slightly dull red. It doesn't look anywhere near that brightness. And fun fact, if you have that on, you can turn... I could technically, but I wouldn't want to because I don't want to compromise my tracking. If I had multiple of those in the room, I could turn the lights off and play in complete darkness. Because infrared is the spectrum that it uses to track things within the Quest, because, you know, ambient light and normal light and even sunlight all have infrared within them, and they are visible lights, which is why it lights everything up, whereas infrared is invisible to us. But when we've got this on, same sort of them principles as night vision. Well, that's a bit different, but you get the idea. You put a thing on and you can see in the dark. Story over. Whoa! No. Yes. Bastard. Yes. No. Damn. This isn't a good level either. This is probably the level that I am, well, other than Desolation Town, this is probably the level that I'm least familiar with. Definitely spent more time on it than Desolation Town. That was 3? Bastard. Bastard. 2, 3, okay. It's also harder as well because you've got a lot more to manage. You haven't just got everything in front of you. So, it's a great level though. I just think it should have been its own thing. Should have been its own gimmick. I would have loved to have had infinite wave play and you just get to build a character every time you start playing on this. Like a proper roguelike. But obviously that was... I didn't see this level until it was finished. And so I didn't get to put my ideas in. And to be fair, they probably wouldn't have done them. They wouldn't have implemented them anyway, so. Could have given IDU at the time the shot in the arm it might need. Could have brought a whole slew of players from the main game coming to have a look at the ooh. Nah, some points. Yeah, could have brought some players from the main game to come and have a look at Siege of Heaven, because there's a lot of players, like all the big boys, or most of the big... Who was that? Most of the big boys do not play Siege of Heaven, they play the main game. The people that you'll see at the top of the leaderboard. And I'll be honest, because I think this, and I can probably demonstrate this as well. I can play up there. This is fucking harder. There's a lot more precision involved in this mode than there ever is in any of the main modes. There, I said it. But that's not... That isn't a... And I can do well in this, so it doesn't matter that I can't do well in the other leaderboards, because I can do well in all of them. So that isn't a thing. Last wave. Last wave. So that's where I should have fucking bought everything. I just completely forgot. Should equip everything at the very least. Haven't put my incursions down, have I? No. You always want to equip everything for the last wave and make sure you have 10s if you can have them, because you're not going to be getting any more from the shop, so you might as well make sure you are operating at maximum capacity. Right, let's start using some of these resources. Try and up that score a little bit, because I haven't really been playing for score. Playing for those bastards. Oh, that was a headshot. Yeah. Damn it. Oh, yeah, back. I've probably missed him already, to be honest, Kim. Again, they're like, as far as I'm concerned, it would take me a while to get back into the swing of things. Oh, I should have waited. It'll take me a while to get back into the swing of things, especially on this map. Saints Approach, I've played so many times that that's fairly second nature, but even then I'd have to remind myself, or be reminded by playing a couple of times, what waves I need to do what when. I still don't really know on this one. I got as far as finding something that was recreatable for everybody as to that wave 5 trick. Because even if you can't pull off the double gap shot headshot, you should be able to end the incursion and put the Hand of God in the exact right place and do it all with rage. You should be able to at least put a Hand of God down and then take that Tempest shot, and that'll get you a decent score. It really will. Believe you me, it really will. Ooh, another headshot, lovely. Do have to be aware of dying here. Oof. Oof. That was close. But like, yeah, I think the reason why I wanted to see a different mode from this style of play Like, that's the shot that we want. That's still only worth 62,000. That's not great. I wish I'd seen that come in earlier, but I didn't. Never mind. But again, this is why things that I'm doing aren't really compatible. I'm trying to go for headshots, which is compatible with scoring. Let's try not to die. Put one of those down. Deal with you boys. Deal with that one. That's the cheeky one that I was telling you about. Oh, he's through. 1, 2. Oh, I did start the thread earlier of why don't I, like, you know, that's an easy, these are easy headshots, right? They are easier. Granted, I always find that those Cupids, when they get slowed down, that's when I miss them. I don't know why. My lizard brain just can't get over the fact that they come out of those Hand of Gods at what seems to me like random fucking times. That was good shooting. And they get away from me every single fucking time. It's disgusting. I hate it. Anyway, so we weren't playing for score there, but we managed to get a decent 19th, which is not bad. What I was playing for, probably... The one thing that I would say is I've already done myself a bit of a disservice, but I'm limited on time. It's for streaming purposes. What you should do is concentrate on one thing at a time. Don't think like, oh yeah, I'll try and do gap shots and multi-kills, because they're not really compatible. And even when multiple leaderboards are compatible, my advice would be, if you've got time, and you probably have more time than you think, because the 25th is quite a ways away, but as I said, try and get everything tidied up by the 24th. Just concentrate on one category at a time. Just go through them religiously. So, how did we do on headshots? There we go. 5th in the world from like 190th above Mr. Fish. I will take that. But again, it doesn't matter that I'm not at the top. Like, again, headshotting is compatible with scoring. If you get a good score, you should be getting a good headshot side of things. What about Cupids? There we go, above Mr. Fish by 1. I'll never let him forget that. And time-wise, we wouldn't have got better than we had, because that was when I did it fast. This is when I wasn't. I might not have got a bad combo. Yeah, top 12, that's not top... Yeah, top 20, that's not bad. Multi-kills we won't have got much in the ways of. You kind of have to concentrate on multi-kills. Gap shots... Yeah, didn't do very well with them. Gap shots can sometimes be compatible with other leaderboards, like scoring, because it's the gap shots that you're firing your Tempest through to get those big scores. But this one isn't a great one for gap shots, and the ones that aren't great, or they are, but you need to get higher numbers than what I'm doing. So you need to then concentrate on shooting everything through that little gap there, and that little gap there, and those ones, and these ones, and so on. So distance-wise, yeah. So when I did better in my whatever... So this is the part that confuses me. I just got a score that made me in the top 20 in the world. And I got a decent number of headshots. I got a decent number of Cupids, and like, although that isn't a very far, it will count toward my distance score. Yet, I was able to get a bigger distance score through running through time, doing a time trial and trying to do it quickly, than I was for actually scoring. So what does this fucking score mean? Because there's no way I didn't get more points. Like, 629, 785, what? Because it's not score, because 200,000 points of my score was not short range. You know, there's no way that 3/4 of my score was long range distance shooting. Not a hope in hell. But yeah, I know. So I don't know. I still don't know with that. And the problem is, it doesn't matter enough to me to work it out. And if I did want to work it out, I'd have to engage my memory. And we all know how much of a problem that is. And on that bombshell, we shall end it there. This has been In Death Unchained on the Quest 3 native. I shall see you all probably on this next season. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.